All right, I think we are live here with We Play Games. So I'm Walker. Welcome to We Play Games. We're going to be playing Age of Wonders 4 today. We're going to be playing with our nice little map inside the Crimson Caldera. But before we jump in on that, one of the things that I do like to do is sort of like a preamble whenever we do single player content is just like cover something like in depth from a mechanical standpoint that we were planning on utilizing or abusing. Oh, wait a second. I can put I can pop out the chat right here. But basically, when it comes to Age of Wonders 4 and what we saw out of the dev stream yesterday, or the air quotes stream yesterday, it's going to be really interesting in regards to what it's actually informing how we're going to play this game moving forward, because it actually did confirm a lot of the, I wouldn't necessarily call them concerns, but like suspicions that we had about game balance that we talked about in the first stream. And so we're just going to dive right in on that stuff first. So here in the Eldritch Realms stream from yesterday, the very first thing that I think I want to talk about is the thing that we talked about like the most on the last stream, or at least like the highlight from the last stream, which was the rank rework. So here on the stream from yesterday, you can see it around 132. Unfortunately, it's underneath my live chat box. I'll post the timestamps down below. But basically, now Blacksmith is going to be giving you +1 rank on all tier 1 units produced in your city. And then similarly, as you go down the path of extra draft buildings, Armory is going to get +1 rank on tier 1 and tier 2s. And then the Smith's Guild is going to get +2 ranks on tier 1s and tier 2s. So what this means is that the argument that we were having was whether or not tier 1 units could actually like stay competitive with tier 3s because they were going to be difficult to replace, right? One of the downsides to relying on high rank low tier units is if they die, then if there aren't these sorts of bonuses in the game, it's very difficult to produce them to get very quickly back up to where the tier 3s are. But that's very clearly not the case, right? If you have all 3 of these draft buildings in place, then you have +4 ranks on your tier 1s. You don't even technically need a society trait in order to get yourself up to +5 if you want, but like be aware that there are a lot of them that are pseudo-competitive already, like Runesmiths isn't bad, Scions of Evil is also up to potentially +2 ranks if you really want them, and so like there's lots and lots of ways to get tons and tons and tons of ranks through this basic infrastructure. A Blacksmith was already like a very important piece of the game whenever it came to Age of Wonders 4, simply because like that giant amount of draft that you get at the beginning of the game really helps you keep pace. You don't have to spend nearly as much gold on buy rushing units to replace stuff or to like fill in on very particular gaps. 20 draft is really good, and now it's even better. The big downside, of course, to trying to utilize Smith's Guild is twofold. First, of course, is that Smith's Guild has some really restrictive prerequisites. You need 4 foresters. This is not in order to get the boost, mind you. You have to have 4 foresters before you can even build the Smith's Guild. So what this means is that if the Smith's Guild does emerge as sort of like a competition to a Scholar's Guild, because, in a universe where knowledge is not as important, a Scholar's Guild is a very expensive piece of production that doesn't really help you militarily immediately, and if everyone's attacking you with Phantasm Warriors and Elephant Mount Warriors and whatnot, then you're gonna die pretty badly. But if you're trying to go for Smith's Guild, 4 foresters, if you've like played the game enough, you'll realize is like very difficult to get on cities that are also trying to exploit as many mana nodes as possible, which is where you're going to be getting those extra research posts from. And so what this means is you might actually see forester SPIs become more valuable, right? This could indirectly be a very meaningful buff towards a lot of different chaos strategies, because there are a lot of foresters in the low tiers there. There's also some extra nature foresters floating around, and so if this actually works here, if we're understanding the way this is going to interact with the Tome of Beasts SPI correctly, then this is a way for you to produce effectively tier 3 evolutionary units like the Vampire Spider with just the Tome of Beast SPI plus the Blacksmith and like up through the Smith's Guild. And because the Tome of Beast also gives you a Forester that interacts favorably with Foresters, if this is a direction that you can build and sustain, it's potentially very powerful, but I think the real highlight of this isn't actually utilizing it for evolutionary things. Rather, it's utilizing it for what might be the best knowledge economy in the game, depending on how this works out. So if you've never played with Philosopher Soldiers, for 160 affinity requirement in Astral, you get access to this perk that you get knowledge whenever your units gain rank. Normally, the way this works right now is whenever you produce units, if you're producing them at a higher rank, you actually get the knowledge for just producing the unit just flat. Now, typically, you're not going to be getting like a ton of value out of Philosopher Soldiers simply because like the ranks on your higher tier units, they're good to get, but they're very expensive in terms of their experience points, and like the society traits that are strongest right now are mostly not the ones that get you bonus ranks, and so like this is a little harder to abuse at the moment. But if we get to the point where everybody who wants to produce like tier 1 legendaries automatically, if you can do that reliably while having like a functional economy along the way, and then get into Philosopher Soldiers relatively early because you started with big Astral, like if you started with 5 Astral and 1 Materium, for instance, then that would be a very powerful way for you to get going down the Astral path, and then you can supplement it by taking signature skills on your rulers and then maybe another Astral Tome in tier 1. Because like, you know, if we're being honest, I think that Tome of Evocation plus Tome of Warding looks like it'll probably be a very powerful combination on the new patch, given what we've seen thus far. And then you're at the point where like, if you can produce for 60 gold, 150 knowledge, and a unit that you can potentially like, you know, run off to auto into something in the water and get some value there, this might be the best knowledge economy in the game. And it also might be like, you know, utilizing one of the best military economies in the game. We'll see how much it actually costs you to go with like a giant amount of Astral in the early game in the new patch, simply because, you know, a giant amount of Astral isn't necessarily going to build the same sort of economy that you get out of potentially something like Call of Chaos. Very powerful tool there. But like this means, oh, and I couldn't find the timestamp for it, but they also added that on Wizard Towers. Like as you get higher and higher on Wizard Towers, you also get starting ranks on your summons. So all of this means is like we need to be on the lookout for this trait in particular, A, how it gets rebalanced, and B, how it would actually play if you were to go really all in on Astral. I think you can try to compromise. Oh, yeah, the stream did already start. How's it going for me? So, yeah, we just talked about the rework for blacksmiths and armories and smiths guilds, but that's sort of like the tip of the iceberg whenever it comes to answers that we got from either the previous dev stream or the dev diary. So the next thing I want to talk about is probably oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk about just Eldritch Sovereigns generally, because I feel like there's a lot of information on Eldritch Sovereigns now that we had to like kind of do some speculation about, because we you know, we didn't see like the hero skills. All we saw was the first signature skill, and I think that now that we have an idea of how this is going to work, and Mage Banes, which we do need to talk about, I think we can fill in a lot of spaces for us. So whenever it comes to Eldritch Sovereigns, the first really big thing that I think we needed to answer is, how does Eldritch Influence 2 work? So Eldritch Influence 2 is on 3959 in the new stream. The mouse over it right around there. Walker, there it is. Wait, no, stop it. Okay, we might have to just
Lewis
play
was
this.
Here last stream.
Let's let him walk through
It's
that.
going to be about the Eldritch
Sovereign. Oh, here's the quick hang ritual. That's another one I want to pause on. There it is. All right, so Eldritch Influence 2. Eldritch Influence 2 gives us an answer to who is like the preeminent caster here in Age of Wonders 4. I think it probably still is the Wizard King, simply because of the access to the overchannel, but I don't think it's as clear cut, because Eldritch Influence 2 is very, very powerful. So let's talk about the math here. So at level 3, actually let's compare it to a Wizard King broadly. So a Wizard King gets +5 world map casting points for every 2 levels, and it's round down. So at level 1, you have the same amount of casting points on both sides. At level 2, the Wizard King is going to go up to +5 casting points over the Eldritch Sovereign, but from there the story is going to get a lot worse for the Wizard King, because at level 3, the Eldritch Sovereign will get Eldritch Influence 1, which gives them +15 world map casting, so it's +15 versus +5. Then at level 4, it goes to +15 +10, because the Wizard King goes up to another break point. But then at level 5, we get Eldritch Influence 2, which kind of like puts the competition for who has the most world map casting away. Like the Eldritch Sovereign still doesn't have access to the warfare tree, so it doesn't have access to killing momentum, and lacking boots and a mount is a meaningful cost, and you can't use like regular weapons. So there's a lot of other things that need to factor into this, but at level 5, you go up to +30 world map casting points versus level 10 on a Wizard King, and then it's not until level 12 when a Wizard King actually equalizes with an Eldritch Sovereign in terms of just access to world map casting points that turn. And of course, because you're utilizing the world map casting along the way, there's actually a really big benefit to just having a lot of them early, both for executing spells, but also just building an advantage of like, I've had more total world map casting than you over the course of this entire game. And so like the Wizard King kind of needs the game to go even longer than just level 12 in order to really catch up on casting points. They really do need it to get to like turn 50 or 60 like and like level 20 at a minimum in order to really close the distance here with the Eldritch Sovereigns. So that's like very powerful, very promising. I do like the +6 Imperium income over +4 on Eldritch Influence 1. That's still like ultimately not a meaningful amount of Imperium, but any Imperium bonuses are welcome, right? These are always a good thing to look for. So the Quickening Ritual is another really important thing that I do think we need to talk about when it comes to these guys. Oh, come on. No. Actually, we can turn this down to very, very slow so I can pause it, because they go so fast through that.
After this pre-recorded stream.
Yeah, it's a pre-recorded stream. Move to the Quickening Ritual, please. There it is. All right, so Quickening Ritual. Quickening Ritual is going to be giving everyone in your army stack that you're targeting with this spell, this ritual spell, very fast movement. If you don't know how very fast movement works, it just like sets you to 48 movement points, which is a really, really big advantage when it comes to moving around, especially if you're already floating, so you have a different movement point cost. But just like across the board, 48 movement points is outrageous. And so this is for 2 world map turns, which is still like a very powerful duration. It's not as I thought for whatever reason it was 5. That's probably because of the one that you see in the Umbral Abyss. But even at 2 turns, it doesn't really matter, because the cost of 2 thralls and the 80 casting points should be something that I expect the Eldritch Sovereign will actually like. Oh, you can use left, right to seek by frame. All right, great. Good. But like ultimately here, because you're going to be getting a lot of extra movement points, you're going to probably be turning on extra fights. By turning on extra fights, of course, because of the way thralls work, you collect thralls by just like fighting people on the overworld and sometimes through events, but mostly you're spending them in events rather than collecting them there. But this should give you the movement advantage you need to just take like 1 or 2 extra fights, given that you can cast this on 6 different units and break them up, right? Like the same way that you do with the Tome of Revelry and just getting extra experience points there. And 80 world map casting points if you have like a billion casting points in the early game and absolutely no mana, which is something that we do sometimes have. This is actually like a really good off-ramp for getting great value out of getting Eldritch Influence early. So this is a really important tool that I hope that we get to see them use in the future. I think we're gonna get one more dev stream, and so I'm really hoping they move into that. But there's a lot more that we've learned here inside this dev diary rather than the stream from yesterday. The stream from yesterday was, was pre-recorded, and it was mostly showing off more of the mid to late game tools, but they didn't get into the really mid game tools in the tomes. So most of what we're gonna be doing here for the remainder of the stream is talking through, or the remainder of the news is talking through this dev diary, although we are going to revisit a couple of things from the first dev stream, because somebody saw some really interesting things on the first dev stream that I missed that I do think we need to talk about. So in regards to Eldritch Sovereigns and the dev diary that we got, The first big answer that we have is the way the affinities work. So we didn't know for sure if we were getting hybrid affinity signature skills for every level. It doesn't look like we are. I think that's probably good from a game balance perspective. You'll note that like all of these are single colored the way that normal signature skills are, whereas these are like dual colored. And so I think that that's probably communicating that we should assume that these are singles. And then down below we see that the same thing is here with the Forgotten Tomes. And so that means that the affinity balance is still like balanced, right? The Eldritch Sovereign is not going to have like 3 or 4 extra affinity over basically everybody. I think that's a good thing, but it also means that we need to understand like the way that these paths are going to work and the impact it has on your economy. So the first thing I want to talk about is the first minor specialization. So the Madcaster is going to be giving us Astral and Chaos. In regards to Chaos, because of the potential access to higher tier units through the Call of Chaos, depending on what your map settings are looking like, Chaos 1 actually might be really valuable in the new meta. I don't know if tying it to exclusively your signature skill is always the right path to go for, but one thing that is useful in like sort of managing your Materium standpoint is if you don't start with any Materium at all in your build, if you take the first signature skill as a Materium thing at level 4 and then also move into Alchemy, it's very equal in terms of getting access to the first Empire Tree skill here, military engineering, to just starting with one Materium, because you go up to that second one, you know, through the alchemy at like turn 10 or 12 or whatever, and so you make up for the missed turns where you didn't have any Materium at the beginning of the game. And so what that means is that like if you're playing with Madcaster and you're trying to get that Chaos 1 through your signature skill, you could explore moving into just like something like Pyromancy or Tome of Hoard or something like that, you know, something that gives you access to a Forester to support your Smith's Guild, and then still end up getting Chaos 1 very early on into the game, even if you don't start on it and you wanted to start on something like Evocation or Cryomancy instead, just for the raw power level of having access to a strategic level damage spell. So this is, I think, a very interesting thing to keep in mind. I will say that in terms of the package that they have at level 4 from their abilities, this is easily the worst of the 3, I think. Chaos Pulse, I don't have the timestamp for it in their stream when they showed it off, but the Chaos Pulse ability can be unlucky and heal the opponents that you're using them on. When it comes to risk-reward management, you really do not want to be using a full action ability that does this. Like, if this were a free action, I think that Chaos Pulse might be a little more interesting, because, you know, you're not devoting your own resources to potentially helping your enemies, but like I just can't imagine ever really wanting to use this in a manual or an auto combat until we get down to the upgrade. And so that means that like this is probably the weakest of the 3. Mindbreaker I think is probably going to be ending up being the strongest of the 3, because this is going to give you access to Shadow, and so if you don't have Shadow elsewhere, you know, knowledge extraction is basically mandatory these days. We'll see how true that is with access to, you know, like knowledge through potentially Philosopher Soldiers, or just knowledge not being as important. But like across the board, 150 knowledge per hero defeated in combat is an incredibly important block of text to have access to, and so it really behooves you to have at least some Shadow in your build. So getting it there is pretty good. And then the actual abilities associated with Mindbreaker I think are actually very solid too, because the Madness condition, it gives the unit Insane. So now Insane, for those of you who didn't watch the previous stream, Insanity now prioritizes attacking their previous friends. It's not a pure random check. They will attack their friends. So this is a very powerful tool for even auto resolves, because it will, you know, essentially turn what was a 5v5 for managing your experience points into a 6v4, but you'll still get the extra experience points for it having been a 5v5. So like this is great for the outcomes of your auto resolves, like the extra experience points concentration on your rulers and your heroes and the now probably tier 1 and tier 2 units who want to farm up. But also like this should just make the fights a lot easier for your autos, right? If your autos get extra units, they typically do better. And then bypassing 3 status resistance is also just like really powerful potentially. We don't know exactly how much status resistance we should be expecting, because lower tier units, the big weakness for them, the one thing that like is holding me back from just saying like ignore knowledge entirely and exclusively focus on the army, Septimus Severus style, is that like here you're mostly going to be fighting against low tier units probably that don't have any natural status resistance, period. If this also takes them down to negative status resistance, and so like increases the chances on like 60% effects or 90% effects up to 100, then this is very powerful. But if it doesn't, and it exclusively ignores positive statuses, or like the positive status resistance, then this is a meaningfully worse trait. We'll just have to see how it works in practice. But just because of the affinities, and when it comes to your rulers, like in their signature skills, you really do want to worry more about the affinity side than the abilities. But the abilities are still useful for both manuals as well as autos, and therefore for your economy. And then we also have Flesh Weaver. So Flesh Weaver is going to be one of the traits that kind of like tests how the new world really works in Age of Wonders 4, because summon units like these sorts of things like fleshlings or even crowbow looks like it's probably going to be a lot worse. We did kind of talk about this also in regards to primal, but if you're just summoning a bunch of recruit rank units into fights where everyone is champion rank or higher, your recruits are going to be hilariously ignorable. This is probably not going to be as big a deal for like manual combats against the AI, because you can probably make a lot of different things work there. But I feel like there needs to be some sort of way for these units to get higher rank. Like this one in particular, fortunately, because it does evolve, you can get a very, very different weapon. A tier 3 unit is very different from tier 1s. But in any case, it's still going to be potentially fighting against, other tier 3s that have ranks on them. So it's hopefully you understand that these units are going to be dramatically underperforming to where they are now. And so summons should naturally go down in your evaluation unless there's some sort of rework to the way their ranks work in combat. The possession's nice, giving you like the extra damage here for 2 turns, but I don't know how often you're going to really be utilizing it in auto combat, or how the AI will prioritize who it uses it on. And so this might be really dangerous to give to your autos. We'll just have to, again, play with it and see how it uses the possession, because so far we've mostly only seen it in manuals on the streams. But just be aware that 40 damage for 2 turns is great, unless it's causing the units to die and go into resurgence and then not get experience points. Even if they're getting through the fight, if they die and then come back with resurgence, the way that heroes do sometimes when they go into Ancient Wonders, even when you're playing with no hero resurgence, like that just works for your expedition leader in Ancient Wonders. But if they die, they get no EXP. If possession is like old subdue and dominated, which is one of the things from the old stream that I do want to talk about, if it's like that and you just don't get any experience points and these things randomly target your heroes a lot, then this is like dangerous. This is on watch list for this might actually make your game frustrating. But if you do any sort of manual or auto resolve rather, then this will make your game frustrating. But we'll just have to keep that an eye out for that. So Eldeshomp says no way to get more Umbral demons in your army. There actually are ways to get Umbral demons in your army. So the main way to get Umbral demons is through interacting with your Umbral dwellings. So Umbral dwellings is actually something I have a timestamp from the new stream. So why don't we go ahead and find that? It's 105:44. Yeah, right around here. So in this previous dev stream, they interacted with one of the Umbral dwellings in the Umbral layer. When you interact with the Umbral dwellings, you can go to war with them, and this is actually like really interesting because this is plus 20 good alignment, which means that now there might be a 0 cost way to maximize your alignment very quickly if you're playing with Umbral layer on. This is potentially really interesting for something like Devotees of Good, which I'm not really a big fan of at the moment. But like, so the Eldeshomps, my point isn't that they would like die a lot. It's that if you use possession on the unit and resurgence hasn't been reworked, then that unit isn't getting experience points because of the way that it currently works. And so even if it makes it through the auto without dying, or rather, even if it makes it through it with like the dying and then the resurgence effect, if you just miss out on a bunch of EXP, that's not great. I think, Anthony, the summon skills for heroes, if you're going to be doing auto resolves, probably you want to be ignoring more. Like, ultimately, you especially on your ruler, as I said, you just want to be like working on your affinities more than anything else. The ability that you get on your signature skill and your ruler matters less than the economy that you get on your ruler. But in regards to your heroes, yeah, probably, because if you're just summoning a 90 HP tier 3 unit and you're fighting against 115 HP tier 1 units, I don't know why you're doing that as a full action attack on your dude. Like, I'd much rather just do a Mana Unchained or Rally or like basically anything under those circumstances, and that is what it looks like we might be seeing. But here, in regards to the Ember Dwellings, as I was trying to say, the Devotees of Good might have a great out here. Like right now you can mostly skip Devotees of Good even if you're doing like role playing, because it just doesn't pay off particularly well. You have to do really weird things in order to get your alignment up to pure good and maintain it there. But if you can just get 20 good from declaring war on a couple of the Umbral Dwellings, then that's great for your alignment economy. It might be exactly the tool that good needs in order to be like pseudo competitive with evil. But this is also like the Eldritch Sovereigns. This is how you're going to be getting the Umbral demons in your army most of the time, rather than it being like mind controlling things. These are going to be sort of like free cities. So here they just went through and they gave some sacrifices to this Umbral dwelling, and as a consequence of giving them this thing, they get a truce with them, and then they're also going to be opening up diplomacy, and therefore the ability to give them more stuff. Where did they do that? I thought it was like right after that. But okay, so I don't know where the other part of it, but if you give them more stuff, they'll have their alignment go up with you faster. And then you can reach to the point where they're like sort of like a free city, and you can recruit their stuff through Rally. And so this is a way for people to get access to Umbral demons to potentially explore things. And if you have a big enough economy to make a lot of sacrifices to them really quickly, you might actually be able to get Umbral demons as your like higher tier units that you access through Rally, because like Banner Lords does look like it could be a real economy, like a really real economy, depending on the way that tier 3 units and tier 1 units shake out. So that's the yeah, if there's no Umbral dwellings on the map, my understanding is it's not going to be possible to play really with Umbral demons. The transformation Umbral Flesh and Umbral Disciples, they show off at the beginning of this stream from yesterday. So at like 6:57, 6:58, they show Umbral Disciples. Here, let me move my chat box out of the way, so instead you only have to look through the corner of their video instead. But Umbral Disciples here is going to be giving you, you can give them a lot of different resources, Professor Pone, to get extra alignment up with them. But Umbral Disciples, it doesn't actually turn you into Umbral Demons. It gives you the Umbral Flesh ability, which is... It's meaningfully worse because it doesn't give you the ability to consume debuffs, which is, I think, a really cool thing. But here, this society trait, the Umbral Disciples, does give you access to an SPI that allows you to use the Altar of Marching Gloom. Unfortunately, because of this radius requirements, and this is an SPI, I thought about like, okay, can you build an Altar of Marching Doom super early and then create Gloom to help you farm the map by having it do damage over time to enemy stacks? And like, the answer is, I guess, technically yes, but in terms of pacing, I don't think that that's actually the direction that you're going to be wanting to go with in regards to this. I think you're mostly just using it as a mana improvement that might do a little damage to people attacking you rather than clearing the map out. You do get a Spitterling here, but because I think summons are kind of on watch list unless they get some way to start it at higher than recruit rank, that this part I'm not as bullish on, but the Umbral Flesh ability is actually quite nice. It doesn't turn you into raw Umbral demons, to the best of my knowledge. There's some stuff here that's cut off by the video, so I actually don't know exactly what this says or how this is going to operate, but I don't think it gives you the Umbral demon tag. But this is still just like a lot of extra value if you're trying to focus on clearing the Umbral layers quickly. It doesn't really justify itself in a universe without Umbral layers, though, and so I think you can think about a lot of those sorts of effects as being sort of they're not really cannibalistic, but they're like very, very focusing in a way that might not be like compatible with others. This might be something where it doesn't turn you into Umbral demons. It gives you a different tag for it. It gives you the Umbral malady immunity and then some different things, and it might give you this Gloom Shepherd tag, but it doesn't turn you into raw Umbral demons with that tag. So that's the Umbral Disciples, but there are some other really important things. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Mage Banes. We actually did kind of we were talking about Eldritch Sovereigns. We were talking about Eldritch Sovereigns and then got distracted. Well, all right, there's a lot of stuff here in regards to the directions that you can go at level 12. We've also kind of already been talking about this for long enough. So just like, I think that all of these are interesting and we'll have to see how they play out. But because I'm already kind of mostly looking at Mindbreaker, I'm mostly looking at the effects here, and because of the way that like clearing debuffs work, I think Eldritch Truth is probably the direction that you want to be going most of the time. It's a lot easier to clear a Madness or Insanity effect than it is to clear a Dominated effect, because most of the things that clear so Professor, yeah, they did, and we're going to talk about that next, actually. Like, the tomes are really important, and so I'm just trying to wrap up on Eldritch Sovereigns real fast, because I do want to talk about Dominated, because there's another tangent on Dominated that I want to talk about, because oops, all tangents. But then also for Eldritch Sovereign, I do want to talk about Mage Banes real quick. So Dominated, for the in the previous stream, actually, there was a really great screenshot. I think it was Shipped showed me this on the Discord that's really interesting, both for like the usability of nymphs in the base game, but also for the usability of reavers in the game. So here we see that they have defeated a gargoyle. So they defeated this gargoyle and they've dominated it, which is going to allow them to recruit it. In ye olden days, one of the big downsides to domination and subduing strategies is that you didn't get any experience points from doing this. That is no longer the case. I don't know if getting a third of the experience points is like enough or not, but I know that it is a meaningful improvement. Like right now, you just really do not want to be using Overseers a lot, because it just costs you too much in terms of your EXP when you're doing autos. It's really disappointing. But this might be the silver bullet, because it is undeniably very powerful. That's the other side of it, right? Is like, you can't just say, well, if you just release them, they get all of the experience points, because that would also be broken, because getting subduals as reavers is actually fairly trivial if you build your build correctly, both for autos as well as for manuals. So like, there needed to be some sort of balancing act here, and this might be exactly what we're looking for. Like, getting extra experience points out of domination is really cool, and I'm very glad that somebody highlighted that for me, because it means that, you know, reavers are getting another one of these passive indirect buffs. I think you can try to play around with Umbral Disciples. I think that Umbral Disciples is probably sort of like experienced seafarers, where like it's map dependent as to whether or not you'd ever want to play with it. So like, I don't think I would recommend playing with Umbral Disciples if you're not playing with the Umbral layer enabled. But if you are, then like it's probably going to be really good. There's a lot of resources down there, and if it lets you clear them even faster, then that's a really big bonus for your economy. In Mage Banes, right? Mage Banes, right now, if you put a gun to my head and you said, Walker, what is the best unit in Age of Wonders 4, I would tell you that it is a 1x of a Mage Bane in your 18 stack, because this is just the dumbest unit in the universe. At the moment, fortunately it's getting rebalanced, but this is the dumbest unit in the universe. So while this unit is in battle, spells cannot be cast by the enemy, is the way that Mage Bane works. So if we were playing around with the old Mage Bane, then this new Mage Bane Bane ability, which is available on the Eldritch Sovereigns, but potentially like access you potentially get access to it at level 11, as far as I could tell, based off of the screenshot that I have here. Where was that? 4044. Where did they show this? Was it right here? Yeah, it's right here. So based off of what I'm seeing here on this Mage Bane ritual, I think that they've done enough to make this potentially not bannable immediately, and then we'll play with it and see how it works. But learn 6 more Eldritch Sovereign skills to unlock, and they're at level 5 right now, so maybe you can get it like level 10. That's still really, that's probably still too early, because this thing is still gonna be dumb. And the new Mage Bane, to be clear, is not a full block. It is now a Spelljammer, which is much more fair, but it's still not, fair, because plus 100% on casting points that you impose on your opponent until they deal with their Mage Bane kind of means that, like, now everybody needs to deal with how do I kill the enemy Mage Bane before I get to actually, like, cast good spells and stuff. And of course, because Mage Banes are mythics, like, they do get control loss immunity and fearless, and they're a single model entity with, like, really good stats and stuff. So, like, these are gonna be really rude, and we may end up needing to ban them. But fortunately, because of the level requirements there, it might be worth testing. So that's the Eldritch Sovereign, and like most of the news from that. The tomes, so the Tome of the Tentacles, we did already kind of talk about the Tome of the Tentacles when it came to the previous stream. I think the only thing that we kind of didn't talk about was the Tendril Labyrinth as an option for High. High is probably the only faction in the game that cares about stability right now, but this is an inexpensive piece of infrastructure that adds stability, and anything that's inexpensive and adds stability is actually very useful for High, simply because of the way that scales their economy up. And so this is potentially on deck for something to look into for despicable neutrals for High. And of course, +1 Shadow and +1 Astral is just a really great spread whenever it comes to generating value for you. High is one of those that really does want to work down to Astral 2 as quickly as possible, because they are going to need the knowledge economy, probably even still on the new patch, just because they're gonna have extra because of the sunshine and whatnot. And so adaptive research does play really, really well with High, and of course getting extra astral affinity can get you along that route. And then we talked about retaliating growths as being like just fun with Provoke Great Weapon Heroes, which that should work. So yeah, stability for High Eldishops. The big thing for High is they have access to the alignment agenda. We can show that off here in game, I think. Yeah, the alignment agenda. So at neutral alignment, your High cities will be getting +10 food and +10 production per city stability level above neutral in all cities. Naturally, city stability as a positive thing is just not very powerful. +10% production, draft, and food for going up to 40 is just not worth it, because it's modifying relatively small numbers most of the time, at least in the early game. So like, you really should not care about maintaining positive stability for most people. It's just not worth the economic cost that you have to put in. But playing as High, on the other hand, makes this calculation entirely different, right? If you're playing at 40 city stability in your cities as High, you're not getting +10% production, draft, and food. You're getting +10% production, draft, and food on top of +20 food and 20 production base, because of the city stability at being level 2. And then if you can get up to 80, you get up to +30, although this one I don't think economically makes sense unless you're just getting it from like clearing wonders or doing events. That's usually where you want to get great value going up to Harmony. But Orderly is very cheap to maintain as High, simply because you get so much city growth. And so having any extra tool that allows you to get that extra city stability for relatively low production cost, because you don't want to be like, you don't want to be spending tons and tons and tons of production just to get slight amounts of production later. You want to spend as little as you can to get more production later. But this does actually look really promising. And then the constricting focus, right now it's at 30% base, which means it goes up to 60% for support units. That's that sounds like it's probably going to be mostly for skirmish, because without like support for reducing status resistance, that's not as impressive. But you know, if you're already on a path of shadow, you could pair this with cryomancy, and then 60% on your supports with blizzard support. That's more like 75% or something like that. Like that's a lot better, and that's when you're starting to get into the realm of this being an incredibly dangerous enchantment pickup for people. But the other tomes here, I think, offer a lot more in terms of just like wild stuff. So the Tome of Corruption here in tier 3, the first thing we want to talk about, of course, in regards to this is, depending on the nature and pacing of the game, I don't know how much tier 3 tomes are going to be like the concentration of what you care about. Like, it probably is going to be more important to just have high quality low tier tomes and then just a plan to not die than anything else. Like, just hold on. And so like getting good value here might not be as important, but this, from a meta perspective, is very, very interesting. So they do say here, this is where you get the Umbral demons. This is the transformation Gloomstrider. Yes, this is the transformation Gloomstrider. This is where you turn into Umbral demons at the tier 3 tome. But that's not really like I think the highlight of the tome, although Curse Eater is very nice when it comes to combating like debuffs. This allows you to remove 1 stack of debuff to heal for 10, and therefore is like potentially a really dangerous counter to something like Infectious Insanity. If you're only inflicting 1 different type of debuff at a time, then Curse Eater is a very good tool to fight against you. The real highlight for the Tome of Corruption, in my opinion, is probably going to be the Corrupted Boon. Yeah, there's also an Umbral Mistress, which is something else that is interesting, and you can read all of this stuff on your own in the future, because this is I think the thing that actually genuinely is going to be bananas because of the way that it interacts with the meta right now. So in Age of Wonders 4, if you are playing like pseudo competitive multiplayer or just like sweaty single player or whatever, there are a couple of things that are just really important. One is to have good supporting enchantments that support the units that you have in battle, but then the other thing is just have strengthened 5 and fortune 3 available, because this dramatically increases the damage opportunities in your game. Like if you just have strengthened 5 fortune 3 on your hero and a Wand of Blizzards, you can destroy stuff. Yeah, so this is so gross. That's the tip of the iceberg, Eldashamps. So that's the introduction to the idea of Buff Circus. This is something that Gracian mentioned in one of our streams, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and now I just can't stop saying it because it's so much fun. But like that is kind of the way that some of the tomes work. So like Tome of Mists, for instance, is like kind of a big problem right now, where you have to have specific answers to Tome of Mists if you're not banning it. Otherwise they'll just kind of like stomp all over you because you'll never hit them, and they'll be buffing into outer space because they're going to be getting random nice little buffs off of the where is it? Where's the minor race? It's not going to tell me what Fagile does. You know what Age of Wonders database, I'm gonna talk to my lawyer about this. This is ridiculous. I'm not gonna tell me what Fagile does. So Fagile, as it says here, if it's obscured or in a mist cloud, it gains a random positive status effect. And then also we're gonna be creating mists. And mists, what does mists do? Mist creates clinging mists. What is clinging mists? It's the opposite of marked. And so like this is not just a tool that allows you to counter the 5 strengthened 3 fortune meta, but it's also a way to turn mists into a shooting gallery, right? If you use this on somebody who has 3 stacks of clinging mists, thinking that they're going to be impossible to hit, and it flips into 3 stacks of marked, I mean, this is very silly. It's also going to be like just probably generically really good against Industrious. It's also going to be generically really good against the fact that we're going to be probably seeing a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 units with the bolstered defense and resistance options coming off of their natural defense mode because of the way that these things work. So let's like look at Phantasm Warriors really fast. God, Walker, there's not an S. You can't stop. You need the... So at Legend Rank right now, you get the Exalted Defense option, but because this is moving down to Champion on the new patch, this means that anytime Phantasm Warriors click Defense, everybody near them is going to get bolstered Defense, and same with your support units getting bolstered Resistance. And so it's also going to turn into everyone is just like You have to spread your units out so that they don't give each other bolstered defense, so that your opponent can't turn them into sundered defense. I mean, look, there are other things in this tome, and I don't wanna walk over them, but like this is from a meta perspective probably the single most important tool that we've seen, because Buff Circus is really dumb, and I love doing it, but it is really dumb. And this thing turns it into, even if you have like an alchemy and a way for, there's only one model for ranks now. So Eldeshop, what do you mean? There's only one medal for ranks now? No, so like the medals are going to be reformed entirely. I'm not going to talk about them entirely because it is in the other stream, but basically now medals are going to progress with plus 10 HP down across the board, and then at veteran and champion rank they're going to get plus 1 defense and resistance and plus 10% damage, which is sort of like getting the base stats of just having been a higher tier unit. And then that means, oh wait, no, that's at legend and elite that they get that. And then they moved down this like natural legend rank medal has moved down to champion, and I think the elite rank medal has moved down to veteran. That's it. And then at elite and legend is when they get the defense and resistance. So this means that like the model or the medal access to these abilities is going to be a lot more prevalent, especially because, you know, you can potentially make all of these units at tier 3 and tier 4s if you want, including, I couldn't find the timestamp for this, but the wizard tower is going to be giving you ranks. So the elite metal defense, so I think elite metal defense is moving down to veteran if I remember correctly, because this one's definitely moving down to champion, and then this is where they're getting their defense and resistance. So yeah, these are just going to be really busted units that are going to do weird things whenever you're actually doing fighting. If you're smart about it and you're trying to like maintain or at least not get completely screwed by corrupted boon, and you are playing with Buff Circus, then of course you can play around with anti-magic tincture. That's a very powerful tool for clearing debuffs. And because damage over time effects happen sort of like at the end of your opponent's turn, it does offer you the ability to clear all of the damage from corrupted boon. But from a tempo perspective, this is also just really strong, right? Like if you use this and everyone immediately flips from 5 bolstered defense and a -5 sundered defense and you kill all their units, then like the ability to clear those debuffs on the next turn just doesn't matter. All right, so Tome of Cleansing Fire. What does this one do? This one does something unique in the game. It really is like a brand new game. Like I want to see how it actually plays out, but like this is really exciting and absolutely insane, and I love it. It might it might be degenerate, and we might need to see issues with like Philosopher Soldiers getting fixed, but it should be a lot of fun. So Tome of the Cleansing Flame, what does this do? There's a lot of text here. There's a lot of like things that are just here on this board, but what it really does is Cleansing Flames. So Cleansing Flames does something unique in the entire game. So as we were talking about in regards to dominate abilities and the way that you get experience points now, and because dominate is clearable with AoE debuff clears, dominated is a lot harder to clear because it turns the enemy unit into, or it turns your unit into an enemy unit, which means it's no longer eligible for friendly debuff clears. So this means that you need a tool that can clear debuffs on your own like dominated units, and that's where Cleansing Flame might come in. So what does it do? It says non-zeal or faithful units suffer burning whenever they walk through the Cleansing Flame, but zeal and faithful units lose -1 negative status effect. This means that if your unit is zealous or faithful and has been dominated by an enemy unit, normally the way you get it back is by either dominating the unit back or killing the dominator. If, on the other hand, that unit is standing in or moving through one of these cleansing things, they will immediately lose the dominated effect. So you can use like pyromancers potentially to remove your own mind controls by just targeting your own guys. And because of course everyone's gonna have just like a lot more HP, the damage over time effect from getting blasted by a pyromancy is not as scary. And you know, crucially, if you set your guys on fire, they cannot be frozen. So this is an option here for a unique form of status debuff clearing that might answer some of the problems that are potentially on deck to emerge from the Eldritch Sovereign and all of their mind control effects and whatnot. And then, of course, like Condemned and things being here for removing positive status effects without checking against status resistance or anything like that is just a really nice tool, especially if you can do, like, big AoE burnings. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see people playing around with the Tome of Lava Burst, but if people are playing around with Tome of Lava Burst, this is silly. This is a very silly spell right now. And if you're able to combine it with this, you always look for things that interact favorably with the things that are currently powerful, and this is just really, really nuts. So I think that, yes, that if I had to structure them, Eldeshop, I would say that Tome of the Tentacle, of the three, I think it looks the most unassuming. I think the power on Tome of the Tentacle is largely economic rather than the spells here. I think the spells here do have some options in terms of utilizing them. Like, I actually genuinely do think that in auto-resolves as well as manuals, Retaliating Growth on a tier 4 great weapon hero with Provoke is actually going to prove to be disgusting, because that is really good against low tier units that are trying to just, like, buff into outer space. If you just, like, provoke a Phantasm Warrior and then hit them for 40 damage, they're gonna feel pretty dumb. And this gives you unlimited retaliation, so you can just you can auto kill triple attackers. Probably we'll see how that one works out, because that one is the most promising of them to me. But it's fine for high, whereas, like, this has a big answer for one of the largest problems in the game from a meta perspective here, and then down here this gives you access to potentially one of the most unique effects in the game, and it's a unique and powerful effect for that matter. And then, like, the other stuff that's in here, not to, like, entirely smooth over the Tome of the Cleansing Flame, because we do have a tier 4 polearm here, like, that's really fun, but I just, like, I don't know how many tier 4 polearms I'm going to be making. This might be something that you just get them from Rally of the Lieges, but it might be something where, like now, if you get a very powerful mythic from your Rally of the Lieges early on, you're usually pretty excited about it. And this kind of looks like it's going to be in the same boat. So, like, there's other stuff here in the Cleansing Flame, but I think that, like, if I had to rank them, I think this is probably, like, meta defining. This is interesting and on deck for being, like, extremely useful depending on how the meta comes out. And then this is just sort of like this is a useful tome that I think you'll find utility in on very certain builds that can, like, specifically use a lot of the different tools that are in here. Yeah, if only there were more sources of charge resistance. But yeah, that's the distribution on our tomes. I don't really feel like I need to talk about Tome Fragments other than to just tell you that, like, if you manage to find a Tome alright, but Walker, I don't really feel like I need to talk about Tome Fragments. Let's talk about Tome Fragments. Walker. Where is it? Here it is. So here in Age of Wonders 4, there on the Umbral layer, if you're playing around with it, you're going to have access to certain fights where you can actually pick up like Tome Fragments from them. This is a pickup underneath this stack right here. When you defeat them, you get access to one spell that you're not currently researching from a tome you don't currently have, which can mean getting access to, like, for instance, Disruption Wave early on, or getting access to Tectonic Shatter early on. Fortunately, a lot of these things hopefully are going to be balanced by the mana cost and casting point cost being high enough that you can't just do it. But, like, this is a very, very scary option in terms of making, like, randomness incredibly powerful in multiplayer. I'm hoping that there ends up being, like, a timing band on the skill levels that are available at some point in the future, because I think that it would be both good for game balance if people did not find Tectonic Shatter on turn 10, but also just, like, more exciting, because if you find a spell that your auto resolve is just, like, isn't going to use, and you're probably only going to be able to cast once per big fight, that's a little less impactful than just finding a strategic spell that deals damage or something like that. So, like, we'll see how this gets rebalanced, but the Tome Fragments are potentially on deck for being as busted as the Mage Bane access, simply because of everything else there. Oh, all right, final thing I want to talk about, and then we are going to start our single-player stream. So, yeah, spells like Umbral Incursion, Eldeshop, so this, because it does create an infestation for you to farm. This is actually kind of nice if you're fighting against an enemy-free city. You mostly are not going to be casting this on like enemy players because it does give them an infestation to clear, and therefore it gives them a lot of economy on their stuff. But if you're fighting against a free city that you're planning on destroying for, you know, glory and value anyway, then like turning it a bunch of their suburbs into infestations that you get to then fight for crazy amounts of resources, like both for clearing it but also the artifacts, is actually really good. So here, like you just don't use it on the other player. You use this and then you farm the infestations yourself. But if you do that, yes, this is a great use of a spell. And I definitely missed that with when we talked about Pandemonium for the very first time, which is why I'm kind of looking forward to potentially being forced to do the tier list videos all over again, because I think there's some really important context that A, has changed, and B, we missed the first time. And speaking of missing stuff the first time, so there are a couple of really interesting and fun things that are here within the form traits. Mount Masters is 1 point now. So at the moment, Mount Masters costs 2 and doesn't really justify itself as costing 2, but at costing 1, there's a really interesting option here for utilizing this instead of any of the different exotic mounts. If you take Mount Masters and you take Tough costs 2 points and gives you +2 physical defense. One of the biggest dangers for playing with mounts is that A, they don't scale as well into the mid to late game, and so spending a bunch of points on those mounts does give you diminishing returns if the game is on a bigger map or just a longer game, because you and your friends actually don't want to kill each other before turn 40. But it also means that everyone with polearms is going to do a lot more damage to you. Polearms in the game, even if you just like do a bunch of enchantments to them, are going to be largely dealing physical damage and therefore getting that giant amounts of damage, like the +40 bonus on physical damage. So an option here for Mount Masters that's really, I think, going to be good, and I'm going to look forward to playing with, is taking Mount Masters and Tough to create like a synthetic exotic mount that's 3 points total. But it means that you've only spent 1 on a mount, which means that if you play with a hero as your ruler who can't even ride a mount, like a dragon or an Eldritch Sovereign, that you're not sinking all of those points, right? That's a really big upgrade in terms of playability. Yeah, like if you don't, well, it's not that the mounts on heroes you want to take off, it's just that like, think about the way that points work, right? You're gonna end up finding mounts as the game goes on, and so like swapping them out, like sometimes I'll be on you know, playing with raptor mounts or whatever, and then I'll just find an eagle mount on the map and then just take that for my hero instead, at which point the exotic mount moves from being something that was useful for the hero for the first 15 turns to doing literal stone nothing. And so like that break point is pretty meaningful, and so it's not that mounts, it's not that you don't want mounts on heroes, it's just that it doesn't support heroes as well, and because heroes are such an important part of the game, it's generally better to have mounts on smaller maps. So like they're great for 4 players. Like Zombie beats the crap out of us with Elephant Mount Warriors all the time, and that's because we play on small games. But you know, this is a really, really fun option here. And then the other really fun option in regards to mounts is that we get to see 3-point eagle mounts. 3-point eagle mounts are just chef's kiss, because like at 4 points, eagle mounts is this horrible thing that I just love, and we are going to be playing with today because I just can't help myself. But 4 points is like kind of too much, and just being able to take it at 3 and pair it with something other than elusive or hardy is really fun. I think this will be a great option for basically anybody who wants to play really anything that utilizes movement, whether that's Industrious or Barbarian or whomever, because the more movement points that you're getting and spending, like the more value you're getting out of Ritual of Alacrity, right? The same with just getting eagle mounted scouts that can prospect and just fly around the board and do so much stuff. I don't have a full list of all the traits that have their cost change, and there are some like traits in here that I think that are kind of fun that I have like questions about, and I want to see how they behave, like empowered by magic, for instance. If burning and damage over time effects trigger empowered by magic, then I'm gonna try to bring pyromancy into skirmish and use use fire bombs on my own guys. I'm going to. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but if you can like set your dudes on fire and have enough regeneration to offset that, and then get strengthened every single turn, you're not just making it so that your strengthened stacks are increasing, but you're also resetting the timer on them. So that I think might be the best utilization of empowered by magic, but we'll have to see if you're allowed to just like throw a bunch of fire attacks at yourself. I suspect you probably will, at which point I suspect that that's probably going to be the best value out of it, but we'll see. That one's fun. Ceaseless Cacophony is like a 15% fumble chance at melee range. I don't know how much that matters. That's not probably worth 2 points, but like there's some pretty interesting things here in regards to the form traits. Domination, EXP rework, that's done. Oh, Death Beetle mounts. That's the last mount I want to talk about. Where did we put the Death Beetle mounts? Where did you put the Death Beetle mounts? Was it 837? That's it. Yeah, there it is. So Death Beetle mounts, this is another thing that's going to be introduced on the Eldritch Realms. It's important to note here that Death Beetle mounts, because they move out and then enter into defense mode, this is not a unicorn effect. I think that largely if you're going to be utilizing this on anybody, it's going to be in tandem with Bulwark, because you're just not getting nearly as much value out of an escape that immediately turns you into defense mode. But if you're playing with Bulwark and you're doing other things that are going to be, automatically setting you into defense mode, then I can actually see this being useful, right? Like if you watch the way that auto resolves actually operate, just having units that don't die is really good for your AI, because just having more means that you have more morale, which means that like you're able to produce more damage and not fumble as much. I think this is probably not going to be the most impactful out of all of the mounts that we've seen. I think depending on it, and also it looks like elephant mounts and mammoth mounts also now have the large tag based off of what we saw when we moused over that. So they might be getting a sort of indirect nerf there with getting even more damage off of anti-cavalry things. But like Swiftfoot Raptor is actually quite nice because of the 48 movement points. And in the universe where Death Beetle has to compete against all of those things and does set you in a defense mode, I think you need a very particular build in order to make best use of this. But I like that they have it there, because I like Bulwark, and I don't have to explain myself to you. All right, I think that's it for the main news from today. That ended up being an hour instead of half an hour because, tangents. But I think we're ready to start streaming, although I think I am going to need to take a quick bio break before we do that. But we are going to be playing today before I leave. Before I leave you guys, we're going to be playing today on the Crimson Caldera with a Chosen Destroyer build. I haven't actually built that one out, so we're going to be playing with a Chosen Destroyer's Industrious build. But beyond that, oh, and I do want to play with Eagle mounts. But beyond that, I think I'm just going to leave it up to you guys to suggest what else you want to see on the Industrious build for today. I think that Industrious is probably the easiest to play with on the Crimson Caldera, just because of how quickly your scouts scale up your economy. And so I want to do something a little different rather than just playing with normal things. And Chosen Destroyers is actually genuinely a lot of fun. But if you have any suggestions for other society traits or other tomes that you want to see, then go ahead and post those, and we will build this thing as soon as I get back. But I've been pounding coffee all morning, so it'll be just a sec. Any sign that stench is cheaper in the next update? I don't think so. That would be good. Actually, let's check for that. Yeah, there it is. It's still 3 points for Hideous Stench, and same with Athletics. So I think that broadly speaking, Hideous Stench is still a little overcosted outside of things like Skirmish. So I mean, we can kind of do anything, because I don't think we're going to play through the entire Crimson Caldera today. Eileen is going to get back from work at some point, and then we have things that we have to do. But we can probably play through like the first ruler or two, or die badly to the first ruler or two, depending on how many barbarian berserkers we run into early on. Yeah, heavy. So that's another thing, actually, Anthony, that is worth discussing. Is potentially big chaos. Big chaos has a very different direction on its empire tree. Wait a second, Walker, you cannot do this. You gotta. All right, this is important to know, that all this stuff is here in terms of Lure of the Horde and getting extra draft, but because you're probably going to want to produce extra draft things anyway, Skilled Raiders is probably not going to be as big. I think the biggest thing is probably going to be utilization of Call of Chaos, which you don't need like gigantic amounts of Chaos Affinity in order to get. And then like the unit upkeep cost is one of the reasons that like leaning into lower tier units might actually end up being better, simply because the lower tier units already have a very low upkeep cost, and so that affords you more resources for producing more of them, for utilizing things like Philosopher Soldiers through the starting ranks, and because like you just have extra resources floating around, unit upkeep is just probably not going to be as big a deal. Battlefield looting is potentially useful depending on the way that the gold for unit tiers is shaking out, and how much you actually care about getting 45 gold after each fight. That, you know, if you're getting 45 gold and you're able to turn 60 gold into 150 knowledge, then that's actually pretty good returns on investment. But it really just depends on what we're looking for in terms of pacing, because chaos really doesn't get good in its empire tree until like I think around here. Skilled Raiders is like the first chaos pick after Call of Chaos that I'm typically pretty excited to get, because this just isn't getting ranks as far as we know. And then War Slaves, yeah, you can get really big high population cities, but in order to like really leverage this, you need big high population cities to burn down, and that has issues in terms of gold utilization, because like you can burning down like tier 1 free cities that don't have walls is typically a pretty good return on investment, because there's just, you're not losing any infrastructure there. But if you're burning down like a tier 3 free city that's population 10 to get like 3 extra pops in your cities, you're also destroying like thousands of production points, which is not what you want to do. And so like this is kind of in a weird spot where like raising, you do have the raising ability and the society trait, and that does give you extra pops early, and therefore it's actually pretty good for something like Chosen Destroyers, as long as it doesn't screw up your affinity growth correctly or too much. But like chaos has this is the biggest issue. Rite of Chosen Warriors is incredible, and the more cities that you have, the more incredible it is. And so I don't know if Chosen Destroyers is the direction that you're going to be going on if you're going for big chaos on the new patch. Yeah, this is like, it's just so weird, it's so incoherent. There are some really powerful picks here, right? Tireless Marchers is incredible. If you can get 200 chaos affinity, this is outrageously good. This is probably the second best pick in the entire empire tree, behind maybe military engineering. But you need 200 chaos affinity, and then you need to sit through like 30 turns of doing nothing in order to get there. And so like chaos is just weird and kind of incoherent, but it might not matter if it's weird and incoherent depending on what the meta looks like in regards to low tier units, because if the game ends here, then it doesn't matter what all the rest of the stuff says. So we will find that out in due time. But I will be right back and just like discuss what you want to see in terms of our Chosen Destroyers. And if you have any questions about news, then like please feel free throughout the remainder of the stream to filter them in, because I'm happy to bounce back and forth. But I really need a bathroom, so I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. Yeah, playing with Crucible today would be fun, but I don't know if we're gonna get that far. Like if you're playing with Chosen Destroyers, there are gonna be some issues in regards to our economic development. But we might get there. But we're gonna play with Elusive and Eagle Mounts. So Eagle Mounts, like right now, we'll talk about whenever we get in. They're really good at clearing the map, just fog busting and seeing things. And so for scouts and prospectors, really, really powerful as an option. And one of the gates that Industrious has to flow through is the draft bottleneck that they have at the beginning of the game, because their economy is so tied up in both clearing the map, fighting, but also getting prospectors online. So burn the map, I think, is going to be fun. We're gonna do some weird things with Industrious here, but it should be fun and thematic, I think, regardless. Yeah. All right, so Chosen Destroyers. Did anybody else have anything that they really wanted to see here? If we're really trying to go for the Tome of the Crucible, unfortunately Hermit Kingdoms does not interact with the Chosen Destroyers, so important to know that whenever you get this bonus for Chosen Destroyers for raising cities, this is a global bonus. This is not assigned to your city. So what this means is that things like this, which modify cities, really just don't pay you out as much. Something like Scions of Evil is actually generically very good with Industrious even now, and probably is going to be even better on the new patch. I can't imagine that being able to produce silver rank bastions off of one pick is a bad thing. And then, we'll see how it scales up from there. That's just a very, very useful tool. Also from the draft perspective, it's not as big a deal whenever you're playing Chosen Destroyers, because you're just not going to have as many cities to scale out. And then, of course, this is the ultimate self-challenge would be to play with Perfectionist Artisans and Chosen Destroyers, but I want us to make some progress today, so we're not going to do that. We're gonna play with something that's a little more reasonable and responsible. We haven't actually played with artifact hoarders in a long time, or reclaimers. I think both of those are actually really interesting tools for developing an artifact economy and just talking about stuff, especially if we get to the point where we can get into Tome of Transmutation, and then our ability, Transmutation is a lot worse, so you can only build one SPI. Maybe Transmutation is not the right direction. Maybe we just go with artifact hoarders just so that we get yeah, you know what? We'll go with artifact hoarders for the mana economy actually here, because mana is going to be pretty useful for Chosen Destroyers. We're going to have to supplement our military through summons, and because we're going to play with Industrious and getting lots and lots of extra items, I suspect that this is actually going to be really good for our development. Tome of Wind is one of those things, Jeffrey, that we still don't really take very often, but is, I think, an unsung champion. Tome of Wind, it's in a weird spot where you don't have to take it in order to support any sort of ranged builds, because you can just sort of take high and cheat on range there until you get up into Stormbringers. Fortunately, Stormbringers are getting nerfed. Their auto hit attack is going down to a turn, a 1-turn cooldown, so they can't just do it over and over and over again. It's draft because they need units, but mana can supplement those units through summons pretty usefully, Anthony. So it's not that you want necessarily to not fall behind on just draft alone, but on everything combined, right? Oh, you want to play with a Dragon Ruler? Okay, we can play with the Dragon Ruler. Dragon Ruler, for the record, you typically don't want to use Dragon Rulers when you're playing with a 4-point mount trait, but I think given that we're going to see Eagle Mounts go down to 3 points, and I think that playing with Dragon Ruler and Mount Masters with Tough is actually going to be something that I'm excited to test on the new patch. That playing around with a Dragon Ruler with a mount is actually fine. I think that could be fun. So let's see. Yeah, Artifact gives you we'll have a big artifact economy today. That'll be fun. So in support of that, what else are we gonna do? I mean, like, Tome of Beasts is just, like, generically very useful. Does anybody know for sure if they've confirmed anywhere in the streams if Summon Wild Animal can still hit tier 2s before you build the Wizard Tower 1? Because, like, this is a question that I've just had floating around my head since they mentioned it in the stream that now you need a Wizard Tower 1 in order to get tier 2 summons. If you can still roll tier 2 spiders off of Summon Wild Animal, that's very important to know. And if you can't, that's also very important to know, because we actually, Walker, this is just going to be an Oops All Asides stream. We will get through everything, I promise, but Oops All Asides is going to give us some opportunities to talk about things like Summon Wild Animal. Right now, if you're going to do anything to manipulate which pool you're drawing from, it's probably going to be trying to go into Cold, because right now Cold gives you access to the highest chance on getting a tier 2 evolutionary summon. It also gives you another really good chance of getting a good tier 2 unit. So this is like a combined 26%. The biggest downside risk on Cold is that you can hit Grimby Crow, and at 38%, that's like kind of high to utilize. So I'm assuming you can cast it immediately. The question is whether or not it cuts off these as an upside risk or as like an upside good thing. Because like, if those are missing, then Cold is a lot worse. If it's just a 50-50 shot on a Piglet versus a Grimby Crow, that's a lot worse. But on the other hand, it would be something like a meaningful buff for Underground, because Underground Beasts, for instance, has, I think, the most consistently good access to tier 1 units. Like, neither of those are bad. And then the upside for the tier 2s, there's a 34% chance of hitting them rather than a 26% chance of hitting them once you can actually get tier 2s. And then also, like, all of these tier 2 units are actually pretty good. Like, wargs are very fast and very dangerous with killing momentum. Hunter spiders evolve. Brown bears do not, and scrap bears don't, but both of those are just like very burly units all on their own. So Anthony, no, evolved units will not keep rank as far as we know, and that is one of these things that is going to cause further problems for poor Feudal, because their peasant pikemen are going to evolve into tier 1, or they're going to evolve into lower tier units effectively. Like, peasant pikemen are going to be, because they evolve now at legend rank, because they stretched this out, they're going to be, tier 2 units at elite, and then they would be tier 3 units at legendary, but instead they evolve down into a tier 2 unit instead. So like, it's just, this might make Feudal even worse. Poor Feudal. I don't know how they're gonna fix that, but I think they probably can in the universe that we're gonna be moving into, where they're continuing development for the game. So yeah, I don't know about Tome of Beasts. We've done that recently. Same with Zeal. We haven't done Cryomancy in a long time. I don't really feel like doing Pyromancy without, well, I don't know, man. Like, we could do some big chaos and see how rough it is right now to compare it against something in the future. Like, right now you're just not that excited to get extra foresters, but if you don't care about research post SPIs anymore and you're just doing like Smith's guilds that are good, but like right now they're not particularly good, so maybe we save that for later. You know what? I'm gonna make an executive decision. We're gonna play with Tome of Enchantment today. I like Tome of Enchantment, but broadly speaking, right now, copper golems just die all the time, and that's like it's a really disappointing thing for poor copper golems, because if they could evolve, that'd be really sweet. But like, these guys they're going to evolve more consistently in a universe where they have 95 HP, and so we might see just generic evolutionary things just be a lot better. And I do like the tools available in Tome of Enchantment. Spell-Tempered Shield is a great like stand-in for Tome of Warding in case you just don't want to play with Tome of Warding because you think it's too strong or whatever. And we get extra draft and blah blah blah, and 5 Materium is just a lot to start with. So did you guys want to play with Dragon Lord? That was the consensus. Broadly speaking, a 4-point trait for a Dragon Lord is that doesn't help it, is kind of spooky to work with, but I think we can get good value out of playing with a Shadow Dragon, because a Shadow Dragon will actually utilize the lowered status resistance, which the enchantments will get. So the Marauders will have more HP too, Eldeshop, but I expect the way that it's going to impact, the way that the game plays out, because the player... No, you can't crash on me. Don't do this to me. Get out of here. Stop giving me these pop-ups. giving me anxiety. But they mentioned that they are actually toning down the amount of experience points that everybody on the map gets over time. Because like one of the things that happens, of course, is that every turn the wild map just gets more HP, or rather more experience points, and because that was causing issues where like you just couldn't clear anything, because everything was like trapped behind 95 HP zealots and stuff, like it makes sense that they would be toning down those XP that the map is just naturally generating. It also means that like the enemy AI, be prepared because of the changes to blacksmith and armory and stuff. Be prepared for them to effectively have only legendary rank units when playing on higher difficulty levels, because I think that they're naturally gonna get that, right? They're just gonna naturally be building their blacksmiths and their armories. They may or may not get all the way up to Smith's Guild. Like that one is a little trickier to say that the AI is definitely gonna be prioritizing, but they just have so many resources that it's like it's difficult to see a universe where the enemy AI empires don't have the resources they need to just go wild on low tier units. Okay, so we're gonna do burn the map today. So one of the things that you gotta do when you're doing Crimson Caldera, I think one of the achievements literally requires you to not take this map, but this solves one of the early game problems for Industrious, right? We want to get as many of these little prospectors out here onto the board as quickly as we can. If you're responsible and not playing with Eagle Mounts, that's okay too. There's definitely space for that. But Eagle Mounts are going to play really well on a gigantic map like Crimson Caldera. Never mind a gigantic map that just has a gazillion things for you to prospect. So this is like why I think that in Industrious is generally one of the strongest options for this map. There's so many things for you to go to, so many things for you to clear, and you just start with bananas amounts of draft at the beginning of the game. Let's see, we can build one pioneer, we can build another pioneer, build another pioneer. Let's see what they get before committing to doing any more. Whenever you have this many, I also do think that you want to prioritize just moving them around as much as possible. You don't have to like fully clear out entire sections of your mountains. I think you want to create paths for your pioneers to walk along where they can do stuff that's productive. Dire Bear mount that we can't use, but extra income for us regardless. Wow, look at all these items that our dragon is just like gonna sit on for economic reasons. We do need to find another hero ASAP, but guess who's pretty good at finding heroes pretty quickly? Starts with Chosen, ends in Destroyers. I think we can even justify doing one more Pioneer this turn and then go into Anvil Guard here, at least to utilize a little bit of that overflow draft, because this stack should be capable of taking some of these fights without any issue. So whenever you got like an early game thing here in Age of Wonders 4, where you've got a lot of your military concentrated on just a couple of units, try to find fights that should be very vulnerable to you. Chaplain, Dawn Defender is 6 + 6 + 4, that's 16 experience points. That means that a stack of 4 will get 4 EXP each, therefore level up. And this is like double ranged support units, so the options for this thing to actually do damage back to us are pretty limited. This one is, for instance, a little more dangerous, wouldn't be as scary if we were playing as high, but both of those fights look like this one won't even get us a level up, and this one is significantly harder than this fight, despite the numbers being actually higher on this stack because of the actual units that are involved. So I guess we'll send you here. Yeah, ooh, there's a small monster down there too. Good. Ah, sick. And there's more items everywhere. There's so many items for you, oh great dragon. And you found a wand of inversion. There's tons of items and a wand of inversion. All right. Let's go deal with this this fun little free city, our first cute little victim. Let's go burn that one to the ground once we're ready. But for now, I think we're going to just go ahead and send the Arbalist out to start this fight. Anytime you send units out, just be aware that the AI does have a tendency to Leroy Jenkins them. So like do it with things that you don't care about if the AI loses. But let's go ahead and watch this fight just to demonstrate like what can happen if you bring a bunch of melee units against support units, just to reinforce what the what good EXP on the map looks like. Because I don't think we're going to take too much damage here. No, 8, come on, man. crashing on. Jesus. All right, wait a second. We gotta open this thing back up. I can't believe it's crashing here. I didn't have like any sort of issues with crashing with Age of Wonders 4 until I don't know, maybe like a couple months ago. But my SSD is getting pretty full. I've had to go back and like purge things from my SSD a couple of different times to maintain at least a small amount of free space on it. It may be time for me to throw in the towel, because I do have a hard drive that I could just like clone everything onto. That's like 2 terabytes, because my SSD is it's 128, so it's so small, and so these crashes may not be Paradox's fault. These might be Walker's fault. This might be something that I need to deal with. Anybody else have any questions about like what we saw from the dev stream yesterday, or like the dev diary, anything that we missed? Because there's just so much information and everything, but the dev stream yesterday I do think broadly was just sort of like a continuation of their previous game, and then showing off the some of the tools that we got into. All right, don't crash this time. I believe in you. Are we gonna have to redo all the scouts? Okay, we will have to redo all the scouts. This is the high quality content that all of you are here for. Pioneer 2, 3, 4, Guard. We don't need gold where we're going, although we will incidentally get some gold. Dire Bear Mount. Has anybody played Songs of Silence yet? So I started looking into that, and like played a little bit of the skirmish Tuesday, but that was when they hadn't yet rolled out the patch that allows people to just like unlock everything immediately and just start playing the game, which is kind of what I was hoping for in a multiplayer experience. So I haven't dove into it like a lot, but Songs of Silence looks beautiful and the soundtrack is great, and so it looks like it lines up pretty well with like what we're doing in Age of Wonders already. And I think it could be fun to play next week. I had intended to play it earlier, but they had not yet rolled out that update, and it was a little annoying. But now all of the tools that we want to should be pretty easy to get, including a timer, because they don't have asynchronous play for multiplayer yet, which means that there's a time cost associated with playing the game, and it's pretty close. You cannot tell me crashreporter.tool.exe. Why is this crashing? How is this crashing? This is ridiculous. All right, maybe we just have to auto it, like pure auto it, and then just like hop back in and watch it later. Walker. Why is it crashing? Why is it doing this? Go. Triumph. Believe in yourself. Naruto this. Hopefully we can... Yeah, we'll just like pure auto it. You'll just have to trust me that we're going to do well against the 2 supports and the shield unit, because we will. And then hopefully it won't crash. Actually, can we turn some kind of settings down? Is there... Quality mode, medium. Let's just do that. See if that helps. Okay, go. And let's get this fight done, so that way we don't have to keep like producing scouts over and over and over again. Auto it, because there's mana here. We'll just walk through it, and yeah, turns out indeed we walked through those despite the fact that they had like much higher military strength than these guys. And it's certainly because the support units just didn't perform. Support units, one of the things that's really rough about them is that they are crucial. You really can't skip them. These are so good for your economic growth by allowing you to heal. They'll allow your units to continue to take fights. But it also enables you to get access to those like bolstered resistance later on if the units don't die. So now let's go ahead and make some pioneers. 1, 2, 3, 4, Anvil Guard. And go crazy. All right, go get this. At least we're not. At least we know we're not cheating and resetting what things we're seeing here. But you just want to go. Wait, why did that? Oh god damn it! I went to the wrong one. I I went to the wrong one. We were supposed to go over here. Oh no. All right, well, I guess now we have a Wand of Lightning Strike accidentally. Okay, I guess that's a good thing, actually. No, I meant to do that. Yes, we meant to do that. Now we have a Wand of Lightning Strike. So good. Yeah, that's the direction that one went. That's right. Everything is here. Don't worry about it. All right, Wand of Lightning Strike. Don't worry about whether or not you need to leave items in your bag. Like, broadly speaking, the actual economic scaling you get out of artifacts just sitting around, even as, like, an artifact hoarding dragon, doesn't really justify just, like, stranding the items outside of battle, because battle items are just really, really good. This is not enough EXP for this guy to gain a level here. But this is, well, actually, that's still a potentially winnable fight, but we're not within movement of it. And that's a potentially winnable fight there. And that's our guy with a giant mage lock and triple arbalists. All right, so Kingslode, this free city should die pretty horribly to harassed defenders, because harassed defenders into arbalists like deletes their units, right? They're gonna have 3 left here instead of 5. That's a really big decrease to the damage output on their shoot crossbow, and they don't really have enough free tool like front line tools to protect themselves. So this does look like a good free city candidate for just killing early. So how do we execute that the best? I think it is going to involve us taking this fight this turn if we can do it reasonably. And the easiest way to do that is to actually stack your units up so that way they don't Leroy Jenkins out into outer space. I don't think we have enough movement points for these guys to move forward and back. No, it doesn't look like we will. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to clump up for this fight, just to help out our auto resolve and not throwing units away, because we just need 5 in order to have the same number of units that they have in Kingslode itself, and therefore have everything be smoothed out. We already have access to our Copper Golem, which we do fortunately have enough mana to start casting. And then I'm just going to go ahead and work on Awakened Tools, which is a great option early on. And a Workshop. Workshop is right now the most important thing to build before your library. I think basically everybody wants to do that most of the time unless they play with great builders. That's probably still going to be true in the new universe with Blacksmiths being so busted. I can't imagine not wanting them. And that looks like an economy. Yeah, all right, cool. So now we get to see the scaling opportunities from having just like Oops All Scouts. Oops All Scouts is like a dangerous option if you're playing on a map that is not going to give them an infinite number of things that they can feed off of. But that's not going to be the case here. You can see, like, look, I'm not going to count all of these because it would take us literally all day. But this is an enormous map with just a ludicrous number of mountains, which is why it is so favorable to Industrious. And you do get good value out of that. All right, so you're going to go here and take the thing you're supposed to take last turn, so that way we can go there next turn. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And this is just like actual gold, so that fits the bill of getting a prospect. Ew, and we even get to go back for another prospect. Oh my goodness, look how much gold we have. Good lord. Yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll go straight in on library, I guess, next. No reason not to. And now I think we can even justify taking a population next turn for healing purposes. So like most of the time you do not spend Imperium for population in Age of Wonders 4. It's just extremely bad value. But with the Chosen Destroyers in particular, because you don't have the ability to scale up other cities, you just have the one, how you use that early game city to support your military is really important. And I think this is enough healing from regen that we can go ahead and just start Kingslode right now. And I am actually going to go ahead and, as I mentioned, we're going to check harassed defenders on here, but because they have so many ranged pieces, we're also going to add undermining the walls. That will modify the AI in a way where they're going to come out to attack us a lot more. And this even gives us the opportunity to run back and heal for one turn. And potentially take another fight over there by maneuvering around the city. Okay, yeah, I'm here for it. Let's get a little bit of healing on you. We'll drop in a copper golem right up here. We'll get this anvil guard. I guess it doesn't have to be by rush this turn, but I wouldn't hate doing that, and then that enables us to start working on another pioneer, just to get those out as quickly as we can. Oh, wait. By rush, that's what we want. And now we have a front line that's just going to like absolutely dominate this Kingslode fight, while also being able to bring this to the ground on starting on turn 4, so it'll be done on turn 8. And then by burning it down, you know, we're going to get the equivalent of a lot of different infrastructure points in our empire, right? We're gonna get 40 knowledge from burning this thing down, which is the equivalent of conquering a city with a library and an arcane institute and most of an academy online. It's just good value. It's just good value. All right, so that's in reinforcement range if we go over here, but there's no reinforcement range actually off of the siege into that fight, so no, we can't take that fight this turn. But we can do attract population potentially still. I think this is still a solid option for us in terms of movement, because if we can get folks into that range, that would be good. And we can go straight through this forester, just because this is the largest tile. You get the most value out of taking this gold vein, but gold is not going to be a big problem for us, considering there's gold here already. So you just have to like play to the map that you're already on, and bigger tiles gives you more opportunities to get friendly movement and friendly terrain for healing. I think that looks solid. Yeah, that looks solid. And then potentially just bring that in and have 6v5 with undermine walls and harass defenders in place. Yeah, all right, that looks like it should be a pretty easy fight for the for our Dragon Lord, even though our Dragon Lord is not level 4 yet. So let's see what else we can find out here for our fun dragon bed. More items, always more items. That is what you can always find. Oh, and of course, here's another really nice tool about playing with a bunch of scouts early in this map, is that you can encounter free cities, and that's another opportunity for you to get like pseudo prospecting done, right? If you burn down a farm, that's sort of like prospecting a mountain if you squint. You're still getting gold out of it, and it's a replenishable resource. It's a renewable resource if you let the free city repair things long enough. Cool, we got a library online. I could see us taking a workers' farmstead here. Like, we don't really want to be clicking attract population very often, even with chosen destroyers. It's a lot more forgivable there, but it's still not like particularly good value in comparison to developing your empire tree. So I think we'll probably aim to get a little food on that front. And now we have enough mana to cast another summon Copper Golem, so we're just going to go ahead and queue that one up, whether or not we actually end up dropping it in before this fight or after, to replace, hopefully, maybe a damaged Anvil Guard to fight these guys in the same turn. That could be good value. Ooh. Or we could take out the Plague Serpents first, maybe, even, and get a level up there? Can we move through this? Can we move around this? We might be able to. Okay, so actually, let's see if we can take the Plague Serpent fight first, because if we can, that would get us level 3 before this fight, which of course gives us access to the larger Cone Breath, which is actually a really great tool for your AI. They love using Cone Breaths. All my homies, all the real homies love Cone Breaths. Yeah, you know what? This is fine. Just send the Arbalist in, start this fight. Yes, there are going to be 3 units because of the Hunter Spider, but given that we have a pretty meaningful advantage in total units, I don't think you can lose anything meaningful here. Nope. A lot of damage on those frontline units, but that's okay. That's okay. You come back. We'll swap out. Should we swap out both of those guys? I don't think so. I think we can afford to bring one moderately damaged unit here, and I think it's probably going to be that Copper Golem, just because right now they're not particularly important, whereas Anvil Guards are actually really great units. Why did you go to the wrong tile, Walker? I don't know. Like, it's there. That's why I went to the wrong tile, because that wrong tile killed my family. That's why I went to that tile. All right, please, can we watch this one? I want to watch this one. I want to see if we can watch a fight without the game immediately crashing. If this does crash here, then I promise we're done trying to watch manual fights. But I do actually really enjoy watching them, even if I do think that there are enough issues with the AI that, like, I don't like manualing against them very often. I just think that the fights are fun. So please, fingers crossed, everybody. Hoop, go crazy in the chat. Like, praise whatever evil god is in charge of whether or not. God damn it. All right, fine. We're done. Like, no more manuals in this. I gotta actually solve that before tomorrow. Oh no, I have to solve that before tomorrow, because if we're doing a skirmish and the game can't open manual fights, that's a big problem. But we can play the rest of this session out with just autos. I think we have a good enough selection of tools that it's not going to be a problem there. But I don't know what's going on or why it's crashing, because this is definitely concerning for our free for all. If I can't open a game against zombie, I don't know how we're supposed to find to finish our free for all. Oh no. Walker, what did you do? How is this happening? Why are we crashing all the time? I guess I'll see if there's a bug report or something that I can send off. This is not good. This is very, very scary. I don't know why this is happening all of a sudden. So we went like this, and then we went in with you, right? Yeah, and then we went in with the Arbalist. I'm just trying to like reproduce the exact steps, because we didn't have the Copper Golem at that point, and that's why those guys took so much damage. And then we send Anvil Guard back. We send you here, and we send you here. And then Copper Golem goes here, and we miss the tile again, and that looks correct. Oh, right. No, that's almost correct, Walker. Don't miss your breath. That's important. Cone Breath is just like generically the easiest for the auto resolves to use, because nothing misses. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, great. That was excellent. We won that fight. We didn't even have to watch it. We couldn't watch it, but we didn't have to either. Oh man. So now we have some options in regards to where we set up our next outpost, but the best outpost, of course, is going to be one that can exploit this tournament hill, if we can pick that one up, just for the clearing for the gold, because what we want to do really with our next batch of Imperium isn't rush out a population, it's rush out a hero. We're going to have tons of hero equipment because we do have access to all of these scouts here. But because of the limitations of what a Dragon Lord can equip, you do need to get a regular hero just to actually like utilize your the items that you can find. We don't want to just get pure economy, because of the way that things scales up. It's much better to just get military and then use the military to generate economy. Boom, you go there, go here, get them right. Oh, a Mask of Precision. Yeah, all right, yeah, we have some really scary tools potentially for a hero here, and ludicrous amounts of gold now. So we really only need Imperium, and then we're online for hero 2. So yeah, no more population for you, city. Not for now. You have to think about the things that you've done and the houses that we burned down for you. Oh, we'll pick Arcane Institute for sure, just to keep that one rocking. Oh, and we're onto military engineering. Maybe that is actually out-competing getting a lower tier hero. Walker, we have a Whispering Stone, and of course we didn't put it in our capital. You can't put it in your capital. That's the big thing. The floor is lava. You can't put your Whispering Stone in your capital. It's just impossible. All right, so we have a hero here that we could potentially hold on to if we were going to Necromancy. But I think we actually will do a little bit of stuff with some bigger chaos down the line. So I think we're gonna go into maybe something like Pyromancy instead, or maybe even Tome of Evolution. Tome of Evolution might be cute for the Copper Golems. Yeah, that might be cute. That might be cute. No! Get back to heal. Okay, good. Yes. So breaking out those units, get some healing here. And that looks good to me. That looks good to me. And of course we have now enough gold to just keep rushing items. And pioneers, how many are we at? I'm probably like 5 or 6. That's not enough. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get 10,000. Just get like an entire army of eagles. An entire army of elephant eagles. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We just need enough units that we can like cycle them out to keep these fights going. And then everything else is just for the economy. Everything else is for the economy. We'll save remaining mana for our awakened tools next turn. And then I think after we bang out this tournament hill, I think we go south to defeat this city. Which of the rulers you want to encounter early on the Crimson Caldera is also kind of complicated, because the ruler to your east, when you encounter them, gives you a bunch of draft for just seeing them. And so you sometimes actually it benefits you to wait until you have your Town Hall 2 online, so that way if you want to get like a bunch of draft and then focus it on on tier 2 units, like getting extra support units early, that's actually a very powerful way to use the diplomacy in the east. Oh, there's a dark layer. We could just like save this stuff. Are you going to be giving us mana? Yeah, you're going to give us mana. And right now, I think actually mana might be more important than gold, because we are not having a lot of issues on that front. So yeah, actually, maybe we just audible into going south. There's gold there and production there. What else can we make in this city? What else haven't we built yet? I mean, we could make more value by going into another grand mill, get even further population growth here to like offset having few cities. That's not even the worst thing in the world. And we do have just an insane glut of gold right now, the way that Chosen Destroyers starts. All right, so you go here. You're silver boy. You go there, and this is too beaten up. You're probably okay. And now I guess we could activate this fight with a polearm with our dragon ruler. And this is where it playing with Mount Masters and tough would be a lot less scary than trying to just take this fight with like as is. But I'm okay just taking it here because we do at least have enough units and hopefully enough movement points that even if we take some damage, we can pop back here and heal. And I don't think the frontline fight is going to be too difficult for these guys to win yet. So it's actually so imbalanced that they want to run away and serve us for gold. Ooh, to serve us for gold, actually, if we're about to go in on fight against a... Well, no, we have copper golems. If we didn't have copper golems, I might justify taking this, because this is actually a discount on the Daylight Spear, and we're about to fight Bronze Ancient Wonders, where a Daylight Spear could be pretty helpful. But I think we do have enough tools and want the experience points that I'm going to go ahead and take this fight regardless. Yep, cool. Hey, we got level 4. Dope. And I think that's a good enough opportunity for us to throw down another outpost here to exploit this dark layer, right? Yes. And because we have 10 million Materium affinity, we actually can just start on the outpost immediately. And now we're off to the races. Okay, so we did get a Plague Serpent. That's good to know. I think, given that the dragon is currently effectively at full HP, we don't really need to run it back to heal this turn. So I'm okay just using it to scout. And I guess this is a good opportunity to discuss flying. So flying, it has +2 vision range always as part of just the flying tag. This is one of the things that's really useful for Eagle Mount scouts. And then of course you also get move in any terrain at a movement cost of 5, which, given that you're also going to have like just really quick units naturally, because these are going to be optional mounts, means you get a ludicrous number of tiles for your units to fly around. And that's why I like Eagle Mounts, because they give you vision and they give you speed. And whether or not they do you anything in combat right now is like not as important, because those two things combined give you just like a massive economic advantage if you can leverage it. And And we're gonna have a lot of dumb items. We are gonna have a lot of dumb items. Yeah, go get some healing. This might also be an opportunity where after a turn or two of healing, we can break off enough units to go up here and fight these guys, because we probably will. And at level 4, I think it does make sense for us to take an exhilarating roar going into an Ancient Wonder, because everyone's going to be clumped at the beginning of that Ancient Wonder fight. Therefore, there's going to be a lot more opportunities for us to get the haste effect. But I think I'm going to take Astral Aspect. So Astral Aspect for +4 resistance is meaningfully better against some Ancient Wonders than others, and I think the one we're about to go into, it actually would be more favorable to have Materium Aspect online. But I want to get Astral 1, at least in our Empire tree, unlocked, in case I can figure out a way to fix what's going on with manual crashes, because I would like to continue the save file and get it done, or, you know, get something done by the time the DLC drops. But something's going on here. Something's going on here. Maybe it's because I also have been experiencing the same crashes or something like it in Song of Silence. Maybe I have to uninstall that. That would be a bummer if it was just being caused by a different game. Well, we'll see. We'll see. For now, we can just keep fighting people. Auto resolves are fine. If you know what the auto resolve knows how to use, then auto resolves are fine. Let's see where else we can go with these guys. With this many prospectors, also, it is like typically advantageous to move them before you move your real army, just in case you see there, like, we found a wand of healing that is actually an item that the Dragon Lord can potentially use. You don't want to overload on support units, because you will, or support abilities for your heroes, because your heroes will just like stop doing damage and only focus on healing low tier units. But you can put some healing on heroes, I promise. They will still participate in combat, and they'll keep your other guys alive, and that's a nice thing. People like that. People love that. Ooh, there's a tranquility pool. All right, so we're already near a tranquility pool. Let's see, after we've moved these guys around, if we see any other pieces of the Cosmoflux elixir. So what was in? Oh yeah, there's an astral dew right there in the city we're about to destroy. So we actually do have some outs to finding Archon blood. And getting a Cosmoflux elixir actually is really good if you have chosen destroyers, because you're gonna have some issues with research anyway, and having the ability to turn your outposts into disgusting research machines is pretty powerful. So yeah, let's go to the Dark Lair and see what we can find with our dragon. Presumably it's gonna be a dangerous fight against shock units. Okay. So there's some shock units, and indeed there's like a lot of things that deal blight damage. And given that, I think we do want to be bringing this tier 2 Plague Serpent. If it dies, it dies. If it survives, fantastic. But I think we bring those 3, and then presumably like one Arbalist will suffice as good ranged support. Or maybe we just want to drop in this last, that polearm is in really rough shape. Maybe not that one. Maybe we'll just bring in the other Anvil Guard, because that actually probably will produce better damage than the Arbalist overall by keeping everybody else alive, so they can keep rocking and rolling and using breath weapons and stuff. Yeah, that's probably the best stack we can put together here. If we loot the least useful unit here is this guy. Oh no, we lost both of the Anvil Guards, but those are replaceable. So those are actually imminently replaceable here. We can bang those out right now. And that's one of these cases where, like, on the new patch, the silver ranked Anvil Guards would be meaningfully burlier. That may or may not result in just like a lot better auto resolves for everybody. But if it does, I don't see that as a problem. Better auto resolves for everybody is a good thing. I think it will. I think people will enjoy it. I guess here we could use a shrine. Yeah, or just a straight blacksmith, actually. Yeah, just a straight blacksmith. Draft is good. We're gonna have like all of the infrastructure done in the city before we even hit Town Hall 2. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we got our Dark Lair online, and now we need to, I think, replenish our HP for just one turn, right? I don't think there's enough here to take these fights. That's a halberdier. That's a houndmaster and wyvern fledglings. Wyvern fledglings, by the way, this is going to be something that we will see on the new patch, but the Tome of Evolution giving you access to low tier units that have very few models is another one of those things that's potentially very dangerous and might get a lot stronger on the new patch depending on how much it shakes down to just, you know, pure lower tier units going at it. Like if you're running with wyvern fledglings and slithers, because they're just so few models, their damage will drop way slower, and given that they're evolutionary units, they will level up very fast. So those are definitely on the watch list for what are we doing? We're about to run into oops all powerful low tier units. Let's see, anything else we want to do this turn? No, I don't think so. This looks fine. And there are some actually really great opportunities here. Haunted Graveyard, Derelict Workshop, and a small monster den on our way over to burn down Aster. Probably want to just do this route first and then delay the den until later, because we do want to get the siege down. It's you know 40 wall size. We don't want to leave this thing just like indefinitely. That siege is going to take a little while longer than the others. Go here, grab some prospecting. I think we found at least one other item for you, right? Yeah, we found you a Wand of Healing and not a friend. A friend next turn. You'll have a friend next turn, dragon, we promise. But for now, I guess we can pick up another potential boost. More population growth? More population growth. Let's get more population growth. Rush out another Anvil Guard to replace those who have been lost. And actually this Anvil Guard is in range to take that fight this turn. That's actually really good. That's where we want to be. So we can drop probably the Arbalist from this fight just to keep concentrating EXP where we want it. And maybe even the Plague Serpent, because I just don't like Plague Serpents, unfortunately. They just don't do what we really need them to do. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. Lower tier units, of course, are going to be extra vulnerable to the Berserk effect on this map, and so there's a chance that some of the units that we're losing are simply because they are lower tier units and therefore don't have the status resistance to resist the Berserk. But that's okay. That's fine. Ooh, and these are in range, actually, of this fight. 245, 275. So of these units, the Wild Speakers are like the most dangerous in the hands of the humans. Like whenever you're playing manuals yourself, like you'll just notice that Wild Speakers wildly overperform because of their ability to imbue killing momentum. And that's still mostly true even in auto resolves, but it does depend on what sort of animals they're paired with. So you do pay attention to that whenever you're looking at Wild Speaker stacks, and killing momentum on a Dread Spider is meaningful, or a Dread Spider hatchling is meaningfully less terrifying than it being on a warg even. When it comes to auto resolves. So this stack I think is actually not as scary as it looks. And this one might be, but I think it's just too much value to try to get that food early. So if we lose some stuff here, we lose some stuff here. Because now we can keep working on buying out Town Hall 2. So let's do that. So in order to get Town Hall 2 online, the first thing we want to do is get probably this tile as a quarry, so we are adjacent to this, and getting the boost on Blacksmith 1. So now we can buy rush that out, and because we're getting 45 extra Imperium next turn, we're actually going to have 160 Imperium, and we're going to have the cost here to increase our hero cap will actually go down. So we actually have like 70 something extra Imperium at the moment, so we can go ahead and actually attract population anyway again. Given that we are on Chosen Destroyers, I think that makes sense, and pick up probably another Forester here. Probably here. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. And now we can work on Town Hall 2 to replace our or lost Steel Shaper there. You don't want to be too far behind on Steel Shapers, so like that was a meaningful unit that we lost, but given that now we should be able to replace it in just a handful of turns, it's okay. It's a good exchange. That's some good Full Metal Alchemist exchanging right there. Let's see what? Oh man, Walker, you could have gotten these things before you actually took that fight. Probably would not have saved you a unit, but important to remember. Move your guys as much as you can and grab as much as you can before you take those fights. Ooh. It doesn't matter. Carissa, you suck. You're evil, but we're more evil. And we will also eat your body to gain your knowledge. So, have fun. Have fun with that knowledge. Have fun with that knowledge. Let's go here, grab extra economy, chestplate of vitality. So yeah, we really do have just like a bananas good hero set up as soon as we can recruit it next turn. Unfortunately, we'll start at level 1, but still should be very powerful. Oh, Inspiring Killer. That came off because the game crashed again, didn't it? Oh, so good. We're going to take a Cloud in the Bottle, which, given that we are on an Astral Dragon, means... Oh, no, we're not on Astral, we're on Shadow, but that's still going to be really good for our Shadow Dragon, because Wet does also modify up the damage on Frost Breath weapons and Frost attacks. Here, we're already level 5. Most of the stuff kind of isn't super duper important, but getting a Dragon Scales 1 for extra defense is also is quite nice. But like Tail Bash is not particularly important. Quicken Breath is probably our next pick, but Tail Bash and Terrifying Gorging are both pretty skippable, at least into the mid to late game. The auto resolve just doesn't use them well, but even in manuals, like a triple action of Terrifying Gorging is just so slow. It's not what you want to do. Let's get another Copper Golem online and pass it. Alright, so the city ruin goes down. Yeah, alright. We will actually, yeah, alright. We'll take the quest, but we're not going to execute it, because the goal here for the achievement is to just destroy everybody else, so not using the Mind Thread spells. I actually have never cast them, because I like killing people in this map. I think it's a lot more fun. And we don't have the support hero here, so let's go ahead, or the support unit here. So let's see what we can get in terms of our heroes. So we have Fortified, we have Unstable, and we have Druid. None of these are exactly what we want to be finding. Actually, all of these are pretty bad. Unstable, I wish this thing didn't have the minus 40 HP. I understand that it needs to be here for game balance purposes, that there needs to be something to work this out. But as we've demonstrated with displacement effects on Slippery, this isn't a pure upside. This already has incredible risk associated with it, where you can take damage and then like displace into the enemy lines, the enemy lines, as we saw in our game with Zombie, where our ruler just like slipped away straight into all of their melee stuff. So this is already extremely risky, and then it also has minus 40 HP. So like this is arguably one of the worst hero traits in the game. But the one that gives you the one that gives you like extra damage against tier 1 units might actually be one of those things that goes up a lot on the new patch. I guess for now Druid is probably the least offensive of the three. We may or may not actually end up needing like any sort of animal interaction, but if we're going to go in on Tome of Evolution, then there's an opportunity for us to get some animals. So let's set up this new hero now that we have like a lot of stuff for them. We do have a Giant's Bane, which is actually pretty important to keep in mind. But because we also have a Mask of Precision, I'm actually fine leaving this guy on primarily ranged units or ranged tools. Yeah, we'll give you a heavy crossbow. That's okay. This is the super herbalist for now, and then depending on how we evolve, we grow this hero, we can pick up a Giant's Bane to replace it, or even just like reset the entire hero into a pistol ruler or a pistol fighter. Hey, and we're even in range to get in on this fight. Look at that. Eagle Mounts, you're the best. We love you. I don't know if I want to take a pretty badly damaged Anvil Guard into this fight, though. I think this is one where I'm happier just dropping in another Copper Golem, and then sending the Arbalist out as our sacrificial lamb. Yeah, that looks safer for the pieces that we care about. Okay, well, we traded an extra Copper Golem for that fight, but that's okay. That does not matter, because we now have finished our tier 2. So now we can go ahead and hurry that out and start working on the Steel Shaper. And we are back in action on our production front. We also have a Rune Carver's camp as a potential way to get units to the front faster. This is another way that you can kind of help draft strategies keep pace in terms of units in comparison to like a summoning strategy. Anything that allows you to dump units on a tile that is not the capital of your city, like the main tile of your city, is actually quite nice. You can go here. And I guess let's get some equipment. Let's get some equipment after saying that we need to do that first multiple times. That's the way. That's the way. Haunted Graveyard is still in fine shape, and our ruler can drop in another Materium Outpost actually here for movement speed, I think. Yeah, this looks great. This is an incredible tile. It's Gold Vein and Silver Tongue Fruit. Perfection. All right, cool. And is there enough movement points for us to go here? Yeah, we could go there and add another tile here to maybe here for movement, and still be able to bounce back for these 2 fights next turn. Yeah, all right, I'm here for it. Movement outposts are just my favorite thing. Don't at me. I love them. Being able to just go where you want to go, do what you want to do. Presumably we'll take Sundering Strikes here. Sure. Yeah, we'll take Sundering Strikes here. And that's good. That's good. Rune of Industry. Not just yet. Not just yet for you, friend. We need some mana to solve that issue, but we are gonna solve that in very short order here. Ooh, we can even do a check here. One of the things that I'm looking forward to on the new patch is that it looks like you're going to be able to use thralls in these sorts of checks against hostile free cities. I'm kind of curious how that's going to interact with in regards to the Crimson Caldera, because you actually can make it so that you have real diplomacy, even as a chosen destroyer. I'm pretty sure this will allow us to assign Whispering Stones to this guy. I don't think it's worth doing at a 60% chance, because like the downside here, if you fail on Primal Exhaustion, is having a meaningfully worse dragon for auto-resolve clearing. But this is good to know that you have that in your back pocket, potentially playing with an Eldritch Sovereign. If you can exchange thralls for actual diplomacy, then you can start recruiting higher tier or higher level heroes, because higher level heroes do come from being able to recruit from free cities. Saving levels on heroes is really, really good. I guess we'll take Shrine. Our economy is sort of at the limit right now without extra gold coming in, but we can still find somebody to pillage off of if we're getting hungry. I think there's some up there that is worth redirecting a scout or two towards. Yeah. Let's start to pillage this before our army starts to really show up in force. Oh, we have gold again. we did a couple of prospecting, and now we have gold again. I suppose this is still another mana obelisk just to keep our real economy flowing. And we can hold on to that, and everything else here looks good. You're where you want to be. Are you where you want to be? Do you want to go forward, Copper Golem? Do you want to get close enough to get into this fight already? Well, I guess if you're asking, then yeah, I suppose I do, Walkers. Let's just go over there. Let's see what this Copper Golem can find under the earth. So we have a Haunted Graveyard to clear with a tier 3 Corrupt Soul. This is annoyingly resistant to frost damage, but only a little bit, not so much so that I think it'll prevent us from having a good time here. And I suppose this outpost really is just going to be the best one, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably just going to be the best one. So we'll throw this we'll put palisade walls on this one, and we'll probably come back for palisade walls for this outpost as well, just because I don't want to leave a bronze ancient wonder entirely undefended for too long. But that's it's one tile outside of range, but there wasn't any way to get there with this outpost, was there? Nope. That's okay. I think we do want this quarry just for movement into this range and potentially that derelict workshop. But yeah, let's take out this graveyard. No reason to let that one hang around indefinitely. So you go here. We could even potentially use this copper golem to start the fight with the haunted graveyard. But I think the dragon here is strong enough that we can actually send the dragon in as our solo unit. It's slightly more likely to take some damage, but considering that it's at now 6 defense, 8 resistance, even if it does get attacked by a lot of the enemy units, it shouldn't kill that guy. Yeah, just instead we lose the copper golem anyway. Double bone wyvern mount, and so now we start to see why mounts can drop off pretty quickly depending on the tools that you have available to your build. Right? We just have so many mounts that we found that having access to eagle mounts on our actual guy is not as impressive anymore. But that's okay. Like it still helps the rest of your units pretty meaningfully. But I do think that 3 is probably safer when it comes to trying to utilize your eagle mounts. 3 is just it's so much, or 3 is so much less than 4 in terms of what it enables you to take it alongside. Quicken breath, yep, that's our choice, and then we'll take shadow aura next one, and then we'll see where else we can go, because there's some really nice tools for a dragon ruler here with Industrious. Like I want to get us up to defensive masters. That's just fantastic for the direction that we can go in. Outposts are done. Is this where we want to be? Is this where we want to be? Yeah, this is okay. We haven't actually, like, the stream. Is the stream actually still going? Is the stream still going? I think it is. I think it is. Wait a second. Is it? Did it crash entirely? Am I streaming to an empty room? Walker, are you streaming to an empty room right now? Wait a second. Oh my god. I can't tell if I'm actually streaming, if the stream is actually on. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. If it's not, this is so frustrating. I've been playing for like an hour after the thing crashed. Oh, no, it is. All right, cool. Okay, great. Then life continues, hopefully unabated. Perfect. So Eagle, where are you gonna go? I guess we'll just keep exploring. We'll just keep exploring. Bring up opportunities. Hopefully we have the mana and gold necessary to start an item forge in our capital ASAP, because that is going to actually be a really big tool for us for transforming some of the things that we're finding into like maximally useful items. I want to get a tier 4 weapon for that guy instead of the crossbow, like ASAP. Ideally, I want to do that yesterday, really, if we can. And then you go here. This looks like Carissa's army, so we can just scout around it. I don't think they have enough space to get literally into the mountains. They typically are pretty slow when they're like 32 movement barbarian warriors. Yeah, all right. Keep it going. Keep it going. And then I guess we'll redirect to pillage next turn. Yeah, that looks all right. Wait a second. Wait. Let me refresh this, because at the very least, if the stream hasn't crashed, then the chat box is not refreshing, and I don't know why that is. Wait a second. F5. No, don't tell me it's unresponsive. All right, I have to open the live stream page again. Maybe it's a Google Chrome problem. Maybe that's what's causing all these crashes. Chrome does tend to give me some anxiety sometimes. All right, let's open this back up. See what happens when we go to this thing. We're in the map. It is still on. Go to view and live control room. Oh, yes! Okay, great. Excellent. Good. We're back. The chat is alive. I don't know why the crash killed the chat, but now there. It is now back on, right? Yes. I see LSR. I see Major Simmer. The chat screen, so for whatever reason the chat like crashed and I missed it, so I do apologize for the silent streaming, assuming that I just kind of thought that nobody was talking. That's my bad. All right, it looks like post crashing, it looks like the chat is still here. It looks like we're back on track. So we're on turn 9. We've done a little bit of clearing. I don't think we can currently do manuals, and I do need to fix this before tomorrow, but you are there. Hi, Jeffrey. Oh my god. And now, of course, the Age of Wonders 4 has crashed again. All right. I'm gonna send this crash report data rather than just closing it, because that is the way that Triumph gets the information. And I know I want to just click cancel upload because it is faster. But I think sending these crash reports is now crucial, because Jesus Christ, this has been like 4 crashes in like what, 10 turns. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Where was it? I'm gonna start by just in case it is causing issues. I'm gonna go ahead and uninstall. Where is this? This is crazy. I don't know why it's having these issues. I've never had this many crashes in such a short period of time. But I'm gonna go ahead and just in case it is causing issues, because I did have some like crashes over the past couple of days with Songs of Silence. I'm gonna uninstall that, and then I'll just like open Google Chrome again and hope that the combination of those two things is good enough. Because I do want to stream this. Like, I have time today. It's just like right now something is going on that is destabilizing the universe. It's the Eldritch Realms. They're the ones destabilizing the universe. It's the upside down. All right, I'll be literally right back. I'm just gonna close Google Chrome in case there's some sort of issue there, and open everything back up again. So I'll be right back. Hopefully that doesn't close the stream, but I think that's an OBS thing, which I think is still going to be open. Hopefully, if we're very lucky. All right, where is this? History. It was this one. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. It can be this one. This is fine. And then the chat box, pop out chat. It would be disappointing if I were able to fix it so easily by just uninstalling Songs of Silence, because I actually did have fun with that game, but it did cause some crashes, and I would not be surprised if it was causing some crashes with this. Hopefully this is all we need to do, and now the world is a better place, right? Do I have to replay turn 9? I have to replay turn 9 because it crashed in game. Oh, bro. I actually really hope that works. I would be upset because I don't have an infinite amount of money, and I did have a good time playing Songs of Silence. But if it causes Age of Wonders 4 to crash, then it cannot be on this hard drive. That's just the way the game works. Oh my god! And now I have to redo the haunted graveyard fight. Oh no! I don't even remember which units we had. I guess we'll see where the movement points get us. I think it was like these 4. Yeah, I think it was these 4. Yeah, it must have been those 4. Let's just assume it was, because this guy can't get into range, right? Yeah, that guy can't get into range. Okay, we're not gonna manual any fights just yet. I want to get a couple of turns in, like, you know, maybe 10 turns before we test it to see if uninstalling songs did do it. But it might have been the silver bullet, because it crashed like 5 times in the first day that I played it on Tuesday, which was unfortunate because the game really did look fun and beautiful, but it looked unstable as heck. And if it was causing problems for the rest of the universe, then you're just gonna talk through and miss a prospecting walker. You are just a rank amateur, just like unbelievable. I'm gonna tell Mom about this. She's not gonna write you for your birthday. She's just embarrassing, just embarrassing. Just look at yourself. All right, well, we'll still get good value out of prospecting even if we missed one turn. Does not really matter that much. This is what a good scout economy looks like for Industrious, by the way, and one of the reasons why, like, just scaling up your scout access in the early game, dependent on the size of the map, is so important. You really don't want to, like, dramatically overjuice it. Like, you don't want 15 scouts on a 4-player map because they will run out of places to go. But if you have just like 15,000 tiles, you can have 10 scouts all game and get really good value, and that's exactly what you can do here on this map. Quicken Breath. There we go. Quicken Breath. Good to go. And no issues thus far. Oh, right. Our super outpost. The super duper outpost. And I do want to put walls there, both because we did last time, but also just like in this auto war situation, you really don't want like scouts just being able to grab your outposts, both in single player as well as multiplayer. That's really brutal. All right, we talked about item forge. Do item forge, right? Yes, that's the plan. Even though you can, like, hold on to items indefinitely with the Dragon Lord with Artifact Hoarder, just be aware that's not the way to get the most value out of artifacts. You get the most value out of artifacts by making good ones. And like a good pistol on this hero is worth a lot more than a little bit of extra gold or mana from leaving items just fallow in our artifacts. I think we had archery there. Pretty sure we did. Yeah, that looks good. And we're not going to take this fight without a 4th unit here, but that one's right here. I guess, do we have enough gold to buy rush this Steel Shaper next turn? So we'll have 4 for this fight, but that'll include a level 6 Dragon Ruler. But I don't think we can take this fight without extra units here. So yeah, we'll just take that one and then rotate left. Leave the Silver Tongue Fruit probably occupied, but given that Silver Tongue Fruit kind of doesn't really do anything for our economy, even once we hit our magic material and item forge, like this is generally a lot more important than this, both for your economy as well as for what gets in items. I don't really care about leaving that one for a little while. Yeah, that looks okay. Oh, we encountered somebody and we heard a declaration of war sound. And you know what that means, baby? That means draft. Show me the draft. Yes! Oh, we immediately got a Steel Shaper into another Steel Shaper if we want it, which we do. And potentially another Halberdier. The Halberdier, I think I want to see what makes it through this fight first. But that's getting 2 more Steel Shapers now to replace the lost one is great. Because those things are disgusting with heroes in our dragon. Yeah, those are really gross. You guys are really gross. I hope you know that. Nasty goat things. One of my best friends in real life has a bunch of goats, and I think they're really cute. I think they're a lot of fun. But they definitely have the spirit of the devil in them. It's kind of undeniable. You can just they're like enormous cats. They're contemptuous towards the behaviors of humans and will get in your way. And they're really cute about it too. that's the way for goats. I guess I am actually going to take a population here just so that we can take this enormous tile. Both, like this is just so many hexes, but because this is going to set us up for a really good production here if we get that tile for Rune Carver's camp, because that'll be a great unit production location. and then we can build a builder's quarter here to interact with the dark layer and the future Runecarver's camp right there. So I think that's the direction that we want Kingslode to move in. Considering I don't think this build is gonna be so hungry for 15 Scholars Guilds. There's just not enough cities for the 15 Scholars Guilds, Walkers. You just can't do that. It's not how Chosen Destroyers work. You get your knowledge from destroying things. It's right there in the name. I don't know why you want it to do anything else. Just destroy stuff. All right, yeah, let's go here. Let's do some prospecting, get some value. Hopefully we get some gold. That is the one downside to prospecting, is that occasionally you'll have like just giant clumps where you only get production, which if you are not combining it with a useful gold economy can, yep, thank you for highlighting exactly what we were talking about right now, game. That's so nice for you. Negative stability we will want to fix, because negative stability actually matters a lot more than like positive stability, but we're currently at -8, and because we haven't actually ticked all the way up on our Whispering Stone bonus, we don't really need to prioritize putting a tavern there initially. I think negative stability is one of those things that you can come up with a lot of solutions for early game if you want them, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I don't want us to be spending too much time on negative. Come on, man. You're gonna give me 400 production in one turn and no gold? What did I do to you? I did everything you wanted me to do, flying bird monster. Yes, thank you. Exactly. Now that we have bargained with you, Dormammu, you can give us something that we can use in this city. Let's see what we can build with our gigantic amount of overflow production and no money. I mean, we could potentially just start on working through an armory. This is something that I as we highlighted earlier with the Eldritch Realms stream, I do wanna talk about armories on the new patch more than right now. But you know, we're playing with Chosen Destroyers. We need draft. Yeah, we're playing with Chosen Destroyers. We need draft. Let's build an armory. That's pretty cool. Even without the extra ranks, units are cool. People love units. I love units. I love it when they fight people. It's unfortunate when they die, but it's the consequence of sound. All right, so let's actually go this way with these units. Let's have this Anvil Guard start this fight for us. That'll afford us the ability to come down this way and build some more outposts going up there. All right, cool. Yep, thank you for chucking those Anvil Guards away. We don't really need them, but we do need something to put in the front line for these guys before you get up to level 4. And then we can move over here. Yeah, this looks okay. So we'll go here, grab this as an outpost when we get gold next. We need gold next turn in order to build that. Oh, all right, okay. This is fine. I'll just go fight a monster den, I guess. We need casting points to get another copper golem out here to reinforce this, actually. I don't think we want to fight this with just 2 heroes and 2 supports. We might be able to get through it, but given that we don't have the pistol yet, this is actually a much weaker unit in autos than it could be. So what else do we need off of enchantment here? I think we could get we want Sundering Blades, and we have 144 knowledge or mana income, so we can just re-roll into it. That's a good deal. I guess considering that we can't build the outpost this turn, let's go ahead and just get the food and grab that out and grab that watchtower for extra vision. Now we're at 4 turns still on that population. Did you not get bonus food from that? It just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. That's why. Okay, that's okay. That's fine, Kingslode. Just think about the things that you've done. No, stop killing my guy. Jerks. This is the other downside here with playing with Industrious and Eagle Mounts, of course, is that so much of your military is tied up in those scouts, and your economy is tied up in those scouts, that if they get picked off by auto-resolve, that can be annoying, but it's still like 6 of them. That's enough. That is more than enough. Gold, baby, gold. And I do think that generally you really should not just like have your scouts stay in one location doing tile to tile to tile to tile, especially if you're on eagle mounts, because part of what the value of taking them is that it keeps your units alive, right? You can just keep running away. Stick to these crazy mountains. I'm also really looking forward to athletics on the Eldritch Realm ruler, although the haste ability is just so good. 2 turns of very fast movement plus evasion in combat is a heck of a combination of things for you. Okay, so you are a couple of turns off from here, but you should be able to get into reinforcement range next turn if we go this way. Yeah, I think we get into reinforcement range if we go that way. So let's actually plan on taking this small monster den and then on to the Mage Glass Forest, I suppose. And then on to Aster, and then we'll save the Derelict Workshop for after that, because that looks like where our army is. And we can make this a fast one, too, if we go here and grab this as a mine, or here and that as a mine. That's also pretty nice. Yeah, that's also pretty nice. Oh, cool. And it's like basically a free small monster den fight too. Is this literally just these 2 units? And it's, yeah, it's 100% free. I don't care who's actually in range to reinforce that next turn. Looks like it'll be everyone anyway, but that looks like a chip in. That's a golf term. My understanding is that golf is a sport played by Americans and other people in the world, probably. And that's when they get to like hit the ball just a little bit, and then it goes where it's supposed to go, and then you score points. I'm not an expert though. Don't listen to me when it comes to these things. I don't want people starting fights because I gave them bad information on what golf is. I think the Wizard Tower is good. Oh, I think this is one of these things that's like kind of confusing to me in terms of the development that they've gone on the infrastructure, because like Wizard Tower rushing is kind of still always very powerful even in the current meta, and now it's even more powerful because of the reliance on Wizard Towers for summoning and the fact that this will be giving you some sort of ranks on those lower tier units that you're summoning. So like I don't know about that, but because they've also tied population boosts in, that means that at least now there's opportunities for people to get to those higher tier Wizard Towers faster, and be a little less punishing to big food versus big production. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and take a Halberdier. I'm tired of these low tier units dying all the time. Even if they are imminently replaceable, replacing them over and over again is a cost. Let's make a weapon. We can start with our first big gun without access to any magic materials. I don't really care about that because, you know, you're just going to be able to make another one and make another one and make another one. And so we can just tear apart some of these low tier items. Generally speaking, when you're tearing apart items and you have access to the artifact hoard and the artifact and the dragon hoard ability, you want to mostly be demolishing your tier 1 unit, or the tier 1 items rather than the tier 2s, because you just get a lot more per item sitting around in your backpack. But it does depend kind of on like what items you're demolishing. Like Horn of Plenty is so much better than your 5th copy of Bone Wyvern Mount or whatever that it just doesn't matter that much. And the difference between 1 gold and 3 gold probably not going to make or break your ability to make money off of the ability. Off of the hard hoarding abilities. You know, Battle Axe sucks in comparison to Lightning Sword. Get out of here. Just get out of here and let's get a cool pistol. So it's going to have to be physical damage. And Provoke is meaningfully worse on a ranged unit than it is on like a big melee polearm. So we're just gonna take all of these little bonuses here, whether or not they're actually like meta viable long term is irrelevant, because a tier 4 weapon is just going to do tons of damage, and that's all we need. And then we'll fix that up in the future. I would love to see the item though, like the item forge, have the ability to upgrade items that you currently have. Like if you could take it back into the forge and tinker on it, that would be fun. So that way you can keep some of your fun items that you find on the board like meta competitive longer. I think that looks good. All right. That hero is coming off to die, as is the prophecy. And now we have to decide, everybody. Do we risk the biscuit? Do we see if resetting Chrome and uninstalling Songs of Silence was enough to make it so that we can open a manual battle without crashing? If you guys are willing to let me try it, I kind of feel like I need to, for the purposes of skirmish tomorrow, just so that way we know that that manual fighting is fixed and stability issues were tied up in that. If this crashes again, I do apologize. And I'm gonna have to figure out what the heck is going on, possibly including reinstalling Age of Wonders 4 after this stream. But in the event that the uninstall works and everything is great, then I want to know that now. I want to know that now. Please don't crash. I don't want to have to verify installation files. I think it did it. Man, I mean, that's exciting for me, but also really annoying, because I did want to share Songs of Silence with you guys, but I am not surprised that the crash problems went away when I uninstalled it, because it was crashing a lot when I got it when I was trying to play it on Tuesday. So we'll see if we play that at all next week or not. I'm actually perfectly happy to just keep Burn the Map going if we can't get Songs of Silence to work. Now I want to refund it. Not because I didn't have fun, because it was preventing me from playing Age of Wonders 4, which is just you can't do that to me. If you think that you can prevent me from playing Age of Wonders 4, you better be Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I don't know what else you're doing, because you're not going to get there, kid. All right, cool. Well, everything's great. The world's a better place. Our dragon can kill things. And so is your face. We got a Flamebringer of Polymorph. So Polymorph, this is one of these things that we didn't really talk about a lot on the Chaos Channeler side for the Eldritch Sovereign, but one of the effects that you can get on the Chaos Channeler for Eldritch Sovereign is the ability to transform units into tier 1 animals, and that is actually really good in autos as well as manuals. If you transform your opponent's tier 4 unit into just a tier 1 charge unit with 50 HP and kill it immediately, that is one of the best auto kills that you can do, and I'm pretty sure that after the death, unless they've changed this, it'll also leave the corpse as a tier 1 unit in case the opponent has any sort of ways to resurrect it. And so this is actually a very powerful tool to have access to. Oh baby, and we got a Hunter Spider mount. This is so silly. We have so many mounts now. What are you supposed to do with all these mounts? Walker, this is why you want this trait to cost 3 points, because you're gonna have 10,000 mounts. You're just gonna have a billion. So it's not that it's necessarily good at targeting with poly, it's just that it will just incidentally do it. And even if it targets a low tier unit, unless there's support for an animal, animals are typically worse than just a generic like tier 1 or tier 2. Once you start factoring in wild speakers and transformations and like tomes and stuff, then it gets more complicated. But the animals, like the base stats right now, are just like worse than warriors, right? Like if you just transform a base like elephant warrior with like 85 HP into like a dread spider hatchling. Oh, that's not going to be in here, that's going to be in this part. Yeah, if you just transform a warrior into a dread spider hatchling, then it's like minus 30 HP, which is like not the most impressive thing in the universe, but isn't bad. And then it also comes with the benefits of changing around their abilities. So even if it's not doing like optimal targeting with polymorph, I don't think it matters. I think it'll be good for the auto either way. you guys could take that fight, but then we wouldn't have the support units there, and we actually want to get experience points on them, just so we can start getting real ranks there. So yeah, let's go ahead and drop in a copper golem here and just take this guy down with, they're probably just going to auto into us next turn, aren't they? Yeah, we don't even have to move over there. They'll solve the issue of getting themselves dead for us. And then we'll take Sundering Blades. It's really good with frozen effects. Ooh. Alright, you get a Spider Hatching Bell, and I think this means that now we have a good reason to sub in Horn of Plenty here, and then give the Wand of Healing to our other hero. Yeah, that looks like the right route here. God, we have so much equipment. They said this would happen. They said if you just went like with a bunch of stuff with Industrious and whatnot, you just have 1,000 equipment, and you do. You just have 1,000 equipment. Visions, absolutely. So Cosmic Goat, the way that you really want to do it is you want to build out your outposts, and then if you have some outposts like this one where you're only using them for like short-term infrastructure, we're not going to keep this outpost for the remainder of the game. We're just building it for the first couple, like 10-15 turns to support our units moving around this area and then dropping them. Same with this outpost here. And that's totally reasonable. Yeah, you get the immediate benefit from the work camp, which is another really nice factor into it. But like it's 100% okay to start with extra gold going into these sorts of things, because the more gold that you have going into those outposts and the more fights you can take, the more gold you'll get back, and then you can demolish them later. And then they'll also, when you do that, they'll leave the roads behind, because the roads are independent sort of the outpost, so it still leaves you with extra movement down the road, even though it misses out on the friendly bonus. So we have Sundering through Tome of Enchantment already online, and I think now we can go in on something else entirely different. I think we said evolution was the direction we want to go. Yeah, let's go with the evolution. This is again not like pure meta. We're doing some fun goofy things today with our Chosen Destroyer build. But I do like the fact that now we're going to be able to use the Druid option that we have on that hero. I think this is a good opportunity to potentially grab a Slither Hatchling as a unit to produce. I don't see a particularly crucial unit that we want to grab, a research we want to grab before that. And Slither Hatchlings, if you can get them evolving, are really good. They are where you want to be. They do so much damage. They perform so well because of their ability to keep themselves alive, and they, as a skirmisher unit, they just benefit from an enormous number of enchantments. And that's a good sentence to be able to say. That's a really good sentence to be able to say. Yeah, you go here, do some prospecting. Let's get a good balance here of gold and production, because we're just so skilled at rolling dice. You may have already heard this story, but when I was growing up, one of my friends in high school had an oops accidental third sibling, and so like much younger kid, and it was really funny because we were giant huge nerd gamers, and so we would just like play board games and video games and stuff all the time, and this friend of mine's parents were like very earnest and tried to teach this young child, that you can learn and practice things and get better at them. And so this kid decided that he was going to practice rolling dice. He was very dedicated to it. I think I did turn off VSync already. But if not, nope, that was in Victoria 3 that I turned off VSync. And that is actually, we may do a welcome to Victoria 3 for those of you who have somehow an interest in that game still and are watching my channel for some reason. I have been having a lot of issues with performance on Victoria 3, but someone recommended turning off VSync, and it actually did make a big difference there. So thank you for bringing that up, Tiger Eye, because I do love that game. It's just like it got to the point where I literally couldn't play it because it was just way too slow in the mid to late game. And turning off VSync and turning graphics down in Victoria 3 actually made a big difference in playability. So doing like a one-off thing, sort of like we did with Endless Space 2, although I think there remains a non-zero chance that we come back to Endless Space 2 because that game is dope. I think that could be fun with Victoria 3 on the new like 1.7 patch, which should be out in like a month or something like that. So if you want to watch us declare war on Russia for war reparations on like in 1836 with Japan, then you should probably like watch those streams whenever they come up. But for now, I think we can pass this. Let this guy come over to fight us. But I think it actually may genuinely have been Songs of Silence. Honestly, I don't want to like blame them or anything like that because they're a very small team. But I did have some crashes that looked like exactly the same as what we were seeing there whenever Age of Wonders 4 was crashing. And thus far, having uninstalled, we haven't had any crashes yet. So I science suggests that may have been the culprit. That breaks my heart, but it is the way the game goes sometimes. All right, so now we can get to that Mage Glass Forest next turn, I think. We can get to there with 5 units if we leave this Anvil Guard behind, which may actually be worth it depending on what's guarding this Mage Glass Forest. If it's just like a couple of mirror mimics, then clearing it with heroes is totally fine. All right, let's see what they got. They have not mirror mimics, but they do have 5 units and only 5 units here, and a glaring lightning weakness. But without a glaring lightning weakness to exploit, we do have a lightning strike here, and that could be pretty good. I don't play Civ 6 very much, Cosmic Goat. I play Civ 4 from time to time. Like I'm a very, very fuddy-duddy sort of person, and I like the like more than 1 unit per tile from Civ 4 simply because I do think that the AI understands those a little better. Civ 6, I do, to their credit, I think Civ 6 understands the 1 unit per tile way better than Civ 5 did, and I think Civ 6 is a meaningful improvement over Civ 5. But I probably have like, I don't know. Let's see. Actually, that's a good question. How many hours do you have in Civ 6 on your computer? Because I also have like 150 of it on the Switch or something like that. It's under Sid Meier's because he likes to put his name on stuff. I have 69 hours in Steam. I can't play it on Steam anymore. I'm not allowed to. I'm pretty sure those are the rules. But I have like, I don't know, probably like 2,000 hours in Civ 4. I just have that mostly on like prior to Steam because I played a bunch on like Beyond the Sword especially back in ye olden days, hot seat in my friend's dorm room. Like have so many LAN games, it's crazy. The amount of stuff that we did not get done because we were playing Civilization 4 is probably unacceptable, but yeah, it's okay. Like don't worry about it. It's the way of the world. Young people are gonna play video games. Yeah, like, so I think Civ 6 really does have a lot of the tools necessary to be a game that we could potentially play in the future on the channel. But like, one, Civ 7 is like kind of already on the horizon, and 2, I actually kind of prefer Humankind right now. Like, I know that there are issues in Humankind, and I wish that some of those issues would be resolved. And I think that some of the issues that Potato McWhiskey brings up in his videos where he talks about it are valid, and I think some of them are just like play experiences. But like, Humankind is a very complicated game because there are so many interconnected things in that one. Like a lot of the value of different cultures isn't really being expressed by the AI, and I think it should be. Like, if it's really, really good to go for Harappans, the AI should want to go for Harappans early, and therefore create pressure on you to want to leave the Neolithic earlier, or at least having, like, different AI that would behave differently in regards to the different ages. It's like an entirely different video game from Civilization, but it's not that I don't have interest in the Civilization 6 scene. It's just that like it's probably only like my third favorite Civilization game. Like I think it goes Civ 4, Civ 3, Civ 6 for me, and then probably Civ 2, then 1, then 5. I just like how many hours of Civ 5 did I play? Because I played a little more of that. I played 200 hours of Civ 5, and like the AI just like has no idea how to play that game. Like the AI in Age of Wonders 4 looks like a goddamn genius compared to the AI in Civ 5, which has no idea how how 1 unit per tile actually works. And so it's pretty easy to just like clown on the AI and like have entirely one-sided wars where you just kill everything that they own without losing any units. And you cannot do that in Civ 6 because they did make the AI better. I guarantee you probably some really, really good players can, but the average experience of being able to one-sidedly annihilate entire armies is a lot better, and it's a more about Civ 5. Yeah, you're right. Like the Civ 5 design, I think that there were a couple of issues with the Civ 5 design. Like one of the biggest issues I had with Civ 5 is that infrastructure. We'll keep playing, but I want to talk about infrastructure and opportunity cost because I'm a monster and all of you are here trapped in here with me. So whenever you build things in Age of Wonders 4 or in any 4X game, it's not just about the resources that you're getting out of that infrastructure, but the opportunity cost of having built it. So we don't traditionally build stonemasons because they're not like normally very good. Here we're playing pretty casually because we're playing with chosen destroyers and desperately trying to prevent the game from crashing. But the opportunity cost of having built a stonemason typically means that you don't want to build this because this is 250 production that you have to put in on this this building, and then you get 15 production out. And so if you do the math of like what it costs in order to build these things and then the payout time of building it, and you compare it to having just built a different piece of infrastructure first, you don't really want to be building all of the infrastructure in the game most of the time in most 4Xs anyway, because you just don't have time. But then in Civ 5 they added on top of that an entire extra layer with like most of the infrastructure costs gold. I don't think they've gone back and rebalanced this at any point, but like it basically became pointless to build cities that you actually developed, and you just wanted to turn the entire map into a post-apocalyptic like Attila the Hun wasteland with just like 4-sized cities with almost nothing in them because you destroyed human civilization and reduced it to ash. And like it's a little bit of hyperbole, but only a little bit. And then of course there were the issues with the AI just like unfortunately not understanding 1 unit per tile yet. And I think it made Civ 5 just like the most disappointing entry in the series. Civ 6 was fun, but I am at 69 hours on Steam, so I am actually obligated only to play it on Switch from here on out, which means I don't think any of you guys are going to watch it because Switch is impossible to stream from. And that's just like, that's the way the game works. That is the way the game works. Nintendo doesn't want to play ball with people, so we don't play ball with Nintendo. Except for Pokemon Emerald Rogue, but don't tell them about that one. That one's a secret. That one's for me. It's for me and my homies. Alright, get some gold. Wow, our economy is so dumb. This is so silly. I guess we can find another hero soon, can't we? Can we find another hero this turn? I think we can find another hero this turn. Yeah, we can find another hero this turn. I haven't played Old World yet, but I have heard really good things about it. So if you guys like strongly recommend that, I could check that one out. Oh, God damn it. Do I really have to take a fortified? I mean, this is just like net negative, so yeah, I guess we have to take a fortified. Welcome to the party. I guess you get to hold a really cool staff. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, you guys like holding staffs. Here's a staff. Yeah. Get on down here. You're just gonna be a great staff guy. Oh man, you are gonna be a great staff guy, aren't you? And we could even potentially turn this into a magical attacker. Those are not like the best things when you're not in manual combats, but they are useful early on, and then you can reset into other things. Yeah, all right, okay, just calm down. You don't have to, like, just Jeez, come on. Just get the monster onto the field and go fight that free city. Go do the free city fight. Go do the free city fight. Yeah, like I've heard very, very good things about Old World. I haven't played it. I haven't like done any sort of research beyond. I've talked to other 4X people, but I have heard pretty much exclusively good things about that. So if I cannot get Songs of Silence to work next week, then almost certainly we are just going to continue this save file and play more of the Crimson Caldera before the Eldritch Realms patch drops. If I can get it to work and things to not crash, then I really do truly intend on using it, because I did think it was fun, but this is more important to me. This is more important to me. Let's see. You can support this after we grab this Mage Class Forest, right? We could just have you in this Mage Class Forest fight right now for taunting, actually. That's probably better for our heroes. Anytime you can make damage go onto something that isn't your big boom boom sticks. Actually, we've already demonstrated that we can do a manual combat without a crash, right? Let's see if we can do that again. If we can repeat that, then I feel great about Skirmish, or potentially even the free for all tomorrow, because Winslaya and Garacian do have a big fight set up for. Oh man, are you really like? Yeah, you guys are on. These guys are on Reflect's magical damage with Mirror Veil, and we have an enormous amount of physical damage here on our weapon. So you can play from Switch, Cosmic Goat, but I do not know why this is, but the Switch does not naturally have a streaming card in it, and so you have to pay $200 in order to modify it. And considering that I don't make content often enough to make YouTube want to recommend my content because I'm lazy, I don't make a lot of money. And although my wife is very patient and incredibly good and just the most wonderful and does a good job of keeping us from starving to death, I don't have money to just spend $200 on a stream card for a Switch. That's never gonna happen. Just make the game less crazy. Oh no, are you seriously gonna kill my level 4 hero? You butt. Alright, well we got mana. That's a fixable problem. I can't believe you killed him though. That's so rude. You guys are mean. You guys are bullies and you're mean. It's just ridiculous. You killing my hero. You're killing me, Smalls. Oh, we traded him for a book of Siegecraft. 100%. Every time I cry Everton. I guess we'll just take gold now, because we are at that point. Wait a second. Where did you go to crypt? Yeah, there we go. So now we need to build crypt in here to resurrect our hero. Push that to the front. You can even just buy rush it now. Yeah, just buy rush it. We got enough gold. And you are back. And this is something that I don't know if Zombie is gonna know this for our multiplayer stream tomorrow or not, but all of our heroes that he killed, or rather the big hero that he killed in our big multiplayer fight, is already back on the board and has become an undead monstrosity, because that's the way that souls work. Our heroes cannot be killed long term. There is nothing that can stop them. The restless army of the dead is coming. The zombies are hungry for zombie. I guess we lost our halberdier, so we could potentially replace that with another one, depending on what's actually guarding Aster. And that's pretty easily we can figure out what they're doing. Let's take a look at them. Let's see what Aster's up to. Do you legit have no? You can't have no defenders in the city. That's not possible. That's impossible. No, don't do this. Don't have no... Really? You got nothing? All right, bro. Well, I guess have a nice time. I don't know why you decided to not have any defenders in your city, but that's a pretty crazy strategy. This is Zhuge Liang. This is the empty city strategy for you guys who are like huge nerds who did not have girlfriends in high school. Then we are here in Romance of the Three Kingdoms style, and Zhuge Liang is trying to invite our giant dragon into the city, and it's definitely a trap. And our dragon, who is the Sima Yi, is gonna like just run away, right? Yeah, that's the plan. That's the goal. Walker, nobody knows it. Nobody plays those games except for you and like 3 Chinese teenagers, and I guess Generalist Gaming also plays them. But Romance of the Three Kingdoms are great games and great books. And I own the 1993 like the serialized version on a gigantic number of DVDs. It's like 150 DVDs. The last time I watched that was like a decade ago. I mean, look, if there's absolutely nobody in this city, I guess all these people will walk in this direction, because that is where Carissa is coming from, and we will be able to pillage all of this for a bunch of extra gold, but everyone's going to be really confused. This is wild. Where are they? Where are the guys? Who's supposed to be protecting you? Was it those 3 guys who just ran off to kill themselves? Because I don't think that's looking after your civilians very well, honestly. I think you guys could have done better than that, Aster. I don't know who told you this was the right strat, but there will be blood. How many items can we make now? Actually, we should just keep making items from here on out, shouldn't we? It's turn 15. Yeah, we should just keep making items. Even if we're just like making generic items with like defense and resistance and stats, that's still a really good thing for our AI. So yeah, let's do that. Just get stats. Just get stats on your guys. Like, we have so much content, and I promise you that you could boil 150% of it down to get stats for your units, and then knowledge, and probably experience points on your heroes and stuff, and then you just don't have to watch anything else that I make. that's Age of Wonders 4. Thank you. That was We Play Games. I'm Walker. Take care. I guess once this city is burned down, then we can turn this into an outposted Bronze Ancient Wonder. And we can burn out those 2 tiles as well next turn. So yeah, actually, this is just an infinity amount of gold here. This really is an infinity amount of gold here. This is the prophesized region. This is the perfect world with infinite gold for our evil chosen destroyers to funnel, I guess, into building a Town Hall 3 without boost after this vendor. Yeah, that's probably, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, cool. We met Fricka. We're just gonna meet everybody with our scouts as they just circle around the world, getting gold and value for us. No, Carissa, you giant butt! How dare you? Do you see what we're doing here? We are busy destroying things. You're not allowed here. Go away. How dare you? Also, you have friggin' Warbreed over here. Give me anxiety. Alright, well, if we're gonna be fighting against a friggin' Warbreed giving me anxiety, then I think we're gonna have to scramble some units north instead of going south to burn those tiles, because we just like can't get close enough. That would just be dangerous for really no value. So we'll have everybody go north, I guess. And I guess this is actually a really good outpost for movement, right? Here. Oh, no, we would want to do it here so that could be grabbed by the outpost, so that could be an outpost to grab that. Yeah, so that's the plan. So you go here. You go here. Go here. Let's get anything else we need to build right now. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything for you to build unless you actually, you know, Walker, you might find gold. I don't think there's anything that we can build, given that we have 6 prospectors that we haven't used yet. Just silly. So the AI kind of does use the reclaim restraint led to shop, but the AI cheats on different resources, or rather, like, has enormous economic benefits on different resources, such that I don't think that the AI would ever really get the max value out of reclaimers versus something like artifact hoarders anyway. And then because there's the further problem of the AI forgetting to make items, as we just did after saying we need to make items, I think that the AI is never going to get as much value out of reclaimers as it would out of just artifact hoarders. Passive bonuses are generally better for the AI rather than active ones most of the time, and that's not just an Age of Wonders 4 thing. That's just true across the board with almost everything. Because just flat numbers are really hard to screw up. All right, Arsenal. Let's tear some of these 15,000 items apart. Wow, this is too much. This is too much. You don't need all these. Just, like, they're mostly tier 2s. Ooh, Power Cleave is probably better here. That's 8, 12, 14. Power Cleave, why are you 3 actions? If you just weren't 3 actions, then this would be the easiest decision of my life. But actually, you know what? Why am I agonizing over this? We have weapons that don't do anything. Just delete those. All right, cool. Now we can make, I guess, a fancy hat. Maybe some fancy armor. Let's make some fancy armor. Wait a second. What actually? Wait a second. What is this guy missing? I think because we have a accuracy mask and an enchanted armor for you too, right? We have chest-banded vitality. We have mask of precision. So the only thing you're really missing here on this guy is, I guess, the wand of healing and a boot. And we don't have access to slip away boots yet, so this will just be like a boot of not dying for early game stuff. But a boot of not dying for early game stuff is okay. Yeah, we'll just take resistance, defense, HP, status resistance, and then leave the extra point because I don't care about fast movement. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything with a crazy eagle mount bird. But that is a meaningful upgrade for the survivability of our damage hero here, I think. Yeah, that should be good. Don't give in to the temptation, Walker. You don't need this outpost. Don't tell me what to do, Walker. I can build outposts. You're not my real dad. This is just the way it goes. Yeah, disenchanting montage. We're just gonna have to disenchant like every 3 or 4 turns, but hopefully we start finding some magic materials to feed in, because we do want to be, getting good value on access to there. Like if we go out here and burn down this Astral Dew, then we can, or burn down this City Ruin, then we can pick up the Astral Dew with Kingslode, and then same with clearing this and clearing this. And even just a couple of magic materials makes the ability to craft just so much smoother. Yeah, all right. Well, sure. Yeah, we have to have knowledge extraction for the guy who may or may not appear in Aster, depending on where they think they're going. Where do they think they're going? Need channeling chamber. That's where you think you're going, Walker, isn't it? Yeah, you need channeling chamber in the city, and you just don't have any mana to get there. So we'll build some merchandise. I don't like building merchandise if you can avoid it, but sometimes you can't, and that's okay. So if we're going up against war breeds, then actually here having the slip away ability on the enchantment actually might give us a lot of extra survivability for autos. Yeah, our OTK, I think 10 is one of my favorites. I think for nostalgic purposes, I have to say ROTK 4 Wall of Fire on the Super Nintendo is my favorite, because it's definitely the first one that I played and the one that I played the most time in. But I think 7, 9, 10, 13, and 14 amongst the modern ones that regular people are probably familiar with are all just great games, just great games. It just depends on what sort of experience you're looking for in a game. But if you're looking for a game that is inherently suffused with lore, it's absolutely the way to go. E4 had the best music. It was so much fun. It was just great. Guy, honestly, Guy, where are you? Oh, good. The AI is throwing blizzards on scouts. Yes. They fell for our trap. AI. You guy. You big jokester. You big jokester. Blizzard your scout. I'll blizzard your scout, boy howdy. Oh my god. We really are just going to have an infinite amount of crafting materials. And despite having, you know, demolished plenty of low-tier artifacts, we're still getting, like, a reasonable amount of income. But it's only a reasonable amount of income. And that is why I feel fine tearing them apart, even as Artifact Hoarder Dragon. Wait. Oh, God. Walker. You missed it. You just missed it. You could have just gone north instead. And you just chose not to. I did it for the stream. I did it for the memes. I did it for the TikTok. I think that's what the young people are into these days. I don't actually know. I'm approximately 500 years old. Yeah, you can just like, you just go crazy. Let's get you as a quarry, you as a forester, and now everybody in Kingslode can get down to fighting this big fight here against Carissa. I really would prefer to be fighting this guy to the east first, because Carissa as a barbarian does have like just way better units than our friend to the east. But if we can eliminate that threat from Carissa, then that I think is actually like probably a good place to pause for today, and see what we can do next week, because I do think that if we can't get songs to stop making my other games crash, that we are invariably going to have to play some Age of Wonders 4 next week and prep for probably just an unhealthy amount of streaming once the patch drops, if we're being honest. But just like, don't tell my mom, be cool about it, right? She doesn't need to know that I'm streaming like 9 hours a day for 12 days in a row or whatever. Like, she's got other things to worry about, like my dad, who doesn't know where his keys are. That's actually not important. He's used to it by now. I don't know where my keys are either. You look like you need a front line to fight those war breeds, if we're being honest. You look like you need some pole arms to just like kind of stick in the way. Yeah, my mom isn't my real dad. You're 100%. I should write them a letter about that, Maya. Like, next time they try to tell me stuff, I'll just tell my mom, you're not my real dad. And that will actually probably not throw them through a loop, because I imagine they're probably used to it by now. It is the way. It is the way. But our gold economy is at least good, right? If you only have a tiny economy in one city because you're chosen destroyers, all your gold is effectively free. So we actually do have some here. Yeah, you don't need keys to Marathon Stream. You just need, like, no appreciation for your own time or insanity. And, like, I'm gonna play the game too much anyway when the patch drops, because it looks really good. So I might as well stream. Like, what else am I gonna be doing? So that is definitely gonna be on the horizon. So doing some more of this next week might make sense. Actually, almost certainly makes sense. So here, LSR, this is the Crimson Caldera map. We're doing the burn the map, where we just, at the beginning of Crimson Caldera, destroy the map, so we don't know where the other AI are, and then we have to, like, hunt them down and kill them. But on Crimson Caldera, there are a couple of really interesting things. This is the third story realm map, and one of the things that's really interesting is that the enemy rulers start at, like, level 12, or something bananas like that, and then they also start with just, like, a huge amount of military. And so this means that on Crimson Caldera, typically the way that you want to scale up your economy is by like conquering a couple of free cities near you, getting access to the power of the free cities there, translate that power into higher tier units and then fight back against these guys. Or if you just do manuals, then, you know, like, just do manuals. But when you're on Chosen Destroyers, that's not an option, and we have to be very careful about how we engage these guys, because thus far we have done a pretty good job of throwing away all of our units. so we have to be careful about how we engage them here. But at least our dragon is already level 7. I anticipate potentially being able to pick up level 8 by fighting this guy. And if we have a level 8 dragon going into those guys, we probably can win the auto-resolves. We're Industrious. Industrious has pretty good auto-resolves, even if we're doing very silly nonsense with it. Oh, I actually want to take the Chaos Bolstering Matrix here. Yeah, I want to take the Chaos Bolstering Matrix here because we are probably going to go into big chaos. Because I want to, and because none of you can stop me. Because I have the mouse. I am the cat now. Yes, give me this city. You can burn down as many of these stupid outposts as you want, by the way. You're just saving me time, Carissa. Like, this is on the horizon. Are you gonna capture this stupid outpost? I mean, you can. That's certainly a style. I mean, legit though? Oh, they were all hidden? They were all hidden? Every single unit was actually here. They were just hidden because they had leaf skin. Because they had leaf skin in a forest. All right, Aster, you really got me. You got me big time. You are just the absolute genius level AI. So if you're going to do auto battle into like this, the right thing to do would be to bring as many units to the front line first because of the way autos on siege cities work. You basically anyone who's at the gate, which is the stack that actually executes the attack for the free city, typically like just goes crazy and throws themselves away if they don't have support. But if they have support, then they generally can make it. And we can get one support into range, but not into the top tile. So actually, we might literally have to wait one turn to take this fight because we have because I put Headlong Assault on, thinking there was no one in the city. Oh, Leafskin, you squirrely nature spell. You showed me, didn't you? Yeah, JEBAITED hardcore. They did a great job. I think we actually do have to wait one turn because I think you have to have a sufficient military strength to go in on double hero. If this was just one hero and like this dude and like 2 archers, I think that we could just like wave our hands and say probably we can just auto into that without any issue. But double hero is a lot better than a single hero, and we don't have good siege projects because I just got like completely JEBAITED. Yeah. We can work on a forge tower. We're gonna get so much gold that I don't really care. And if we can start working on bastions in a couple of turns, then that'll make this fight a little easier. Probably do want another halberdier though. We need more charge resistance. Oh, we need more charge resistance. Does this mean do we have anybody in the crypt? Oh, we have a stupid hero that we have to. We have a hero that we have to spend gold in order to kill. Hero. I don't know why we have to build a prison cell in order to kill heroes. Because I tell you that you can do it in combat. These things occur. You don't have to actually fight them. But let's see if we get some gold for a halberdier first. There's some options here, Walker. You still have some pioneers. Go find gold. Two of you are supposed to find gold, and the rest of you guys find some artifacts. Actually, you need to find more gold than that. You can't find 41 gold. That's not enough. I need like 100 and maybe 50. 69. Nice. Ship it. We can just like stop it there. You don't need to do any more prospecting, Walker. You got exactly what you needed. Yeah. Let's like see what else we get. Okay, we at least got enough gold that we can make a halberdier here, and all that production, because we were like forcing through a tier 3 town hall very early before the boost, means that now we can have the bastions online next turn. And how close are we actually to Right of Wealth? 15 turns. Oh great, our giant orange boy is coughing up a hairball. He's very fluffy. He's very fluffy. I have to help him with that later. He'll be okay. Alright, yeah, we'll wait until next turn. We really should not, with these armies here, we really should not just take an incredibly dangerous auto for no value. And I don't think we really even have a good use case for purging Euros here, so I'm actually okay just like working on as many copper golems to stick in front of 2-3 powerful shock units. Yeah. Copper golems might not be the most impressive, but they will do what they need to do, which is hopefully walk into these guys and die. There's some gold, there's some gold. Now we're at 330, so we can go ahead and hopefully buy rush this and then work on a bastion immediately, which we can. I think now we are actually on potentially a mine here. Oh my god. And orange is coming from the east at the exact same time. Orange, you guys need to talk to each other and choose who is gonna fight me first, because you guys can't fight at the same time. I hope you literally understand that. That's not a Walker aside. The way you guys are not teammates, you have to choose one. If you guys fight each other, then that's not cool. I guess this guy can go here to coordinate troops. Yeah, we'll just have our halberdier move this way. And this is the tile that's going to be closest to the front, and that's where we want our guys, as previously discussed. It's okay to have some units that are reinforcing from range, but if they're reinforcing from range, just know that they might be late to the party. I guess a slither actually isn't even a bad thing to get some experience points on if we can get him. And then we have a support unit here, so why don't we bring another support unit in here for purposes of extra healing. And our dragon, go. Is that going to be enough given the headlong assault? I think it will be. I think it might be dangerous. We might lose some low tier units, but yeah, we got through it. And now we can raise for 750 gold. Yeah, raising for 750 is the best. So the thing is that here now, Sivan, with Eagle Mounts on Bastions, this is actually going to be really nice for them in terms of their positioning in combat. So in combat, every unit that gets extra movement points is a big upgrade, but flying is going to give us ways to position these for both ourselves as well as the auto-resolve, where they should be able to move around really cleanly and drop inspiring defense. And given that we are not yet in the universe where everyone is going to be hitting champion rank with exalted defense, then the having more mobility here is typically better. That said, Eagle Mounts are not like meta competitive right now. We're mostly doing them for fun, and then we'll see how they do on the new patch when they're only 3 points, because they look a lot more promising there. But yeah, like right now you mostly don't take Eagles because they are a little too expensive. Just a little bit, but they are too expensive. Oh, what? God, you had a book of Siegecraft, Walker. You didn't even need to use the thing. You just needed to use the other thing. I could have used the book of Siegecraft, and we might have saved one extra tier 1 unit, and that actually wouldn't have been bad. But given this is coming down, that means on turn 23 we'll get a million gold. So then we can get, hopefully, buy rush Bastion on turn 23, 24, 25. That looks achievable, actually. Yeah, that looks doable here. We're gonna have so much gold, as long as these guys haven't literally sieged down Kingslode, which I don't think they can in that time frame. We should have the tools necessary to push back against these guys with Eagle Bastions in style and short order. Guys are here and here, so summon Copper Golem here. And we will add Rapid Evolution for the purposes of just keeping units bouncing around. Evolutionary units that don't immediately die are pretty dangerous for the AI because it won't always understand that there's a slip away effect, and so it'll line itself up to potentially kill a unit, fail to kill said unit because of slip away, expose a bunch of opportunities for you to do some flank attacks, and go crazy from there. Oh, right, yeah. We just finished some stuff, and we got all these dead heroes. Oh my god, you really just have a shameful amount of gold in this game. You really are just gonna have a shameful amount of gold in this game, aren't you, Walker? Alright, we'll build a Bastion's Barricade, because that is also just like a very, very powerful defensive scaling tool in case both of these guys decide to siege here. But I think that's a good spot for those guys. And I suppose we'll go with Draconic Vitality for the purposes of powering up some of our units. We don't have any extra ranks on starting. Scions of Evil would be nice there, but I think we'll get extra ranks down the road without it being too costly and slow. That was my nickname in high school. Actually, yeah, I think the rest of these guys are good standing where they are, because we don't know exactly where Carissa's units are going to go, and I want them to be able to scramble to either engage, if it looks like we can do a favorable engagement, or run. Because I think we can win this once we start getting those bastions online, but because of the early game losses we suffered, we are going to need to get them online before we really start fighting them. She just has too many high quality units right now compared to what we have. But we could use this as an opportunity to try to snipe her bannerless keep. She's not paying attention. Or just get some. Nah, no. Walker, just keep prospecting. There's still a million places for this guy to go. Don't throw it away yet. You can throw this scout away on trying to steal stuff from Carissa later. Focus on the plan, young man. Focus on the plan. And you go there, and you are out of the range to actually walk where we need to go. Good. That halberdier is trapped in the city. There's nowhere for you to hide, friendly halberdier. You have no chance to survive. Make your time. Do we have... Oh, right. We have now boots for you. And potentially another weapon that we could make for you. And although I do like the polymorph staff, depending on how it's actually going to be used in the fight against all big scary warbreeds and guys, I think it actually might be better for us to just make a tier 4 polearm for you for this next fight, honestly, Annabelle. And we still have a restore option, so that's pretty good. Or Arnabelle the Elder. Yeah, let's just take defense and then go ahead and make a tier 4 weapon for you, a tier 4 polearm. Wow, there's so many items. Jeez. You guys are just getting the massive haul here every single time, aren't you? I don't really care about frost and spirit damage on this map. There are very few things that are generally doing frost and spirit damage when it's AI controlled. Yeah. And now we can build a big pole arm. And I think we can even give it... Oh, yes, we can make a Bident. That'll make everyone crazy. People hate these. I love it. I think they're fun. The number of complaints I see about that. It's so silly. I guess we don't really even need Animal Slayer. Yeah, we don't need Animal Slayer where we're going. There's gonna be no animals. Just make a tier 4 weapon and poke these guys to death. That'll be pretty good. Cinren. Enter this realm. Show us your moves. Are they literally going to do it? Are they going to go at it right here? Are we going to be busy burning down a free city and then, like, just ignoring these guys, and then they slaughter each other on our fields, and then we come in and mop up behind them? I'm fine with that, by the way. If that's the direction that they want to go, and that will make them feel fulfilled, and, like, they did something with their life, then I don't want to hurt them. Like, I don't want to yuck their yum. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you guys can fight each other. Go crazy. Just go indiscriminately crazy. And we can even fight some stuff along the way because there's these other heroes up here. See, this will be great for everyone. You guys fight each other. We'll clear this this Ancient Wonder, and then we'll deal with whoever is still alive. And I think it'll be fun that way. I think you guys will have a really great time. I think it'll just be exactly what you're looking for. Rapid evolution. Probably do need a couple of more copper golems just for evolutionary fodder, and obviously more casting points too. So we probably need to just buy rush this and work on channeling chamber here. But you know, like when you only have one city, one of the nice benefits of playing Chosen Destroyers is that you can just buy rush a lot of stuff, because you don't have to worry about, like, how do I scale up all of my other cities, because you don't have any. You only got the one. And then that makes your economy a little more interesting. 80. Okay, so we're actually like 20 gold short on being able to buy rush another bastion. I believe in the hearted cards. It's just like, it's got to be there. We're gonna find the gold. There's way too many things. He says there's just way too many prospectors for us to hit oops all production here, right? That's just not possible. Spider hatching bell. Okay, good. Glad that's you know. It occurs to me now that there's actually a path for us to get a ludicrous amount of gold out of that Silver Wonder, which might be necessary. Yeah, let's do that. Mashar the Radiant, go find a better hobby. Like, honestly, girl, you can do better. Oh, right, this guy's gonna get a big cool pole arm, which means that we honestly don't even need the accuracy helm there anymore. We can swap it over to a Helm of the Warrior for rocking and rolling with big beefy war breeds, which suggests probably that we want hardy chest plate. Yeah, all right. We'll get a plus 5 HP. That's not like a million plus HP, but 5 is more than 0, and I don't think we're gonna be doing damage with magical attacks off at you anytime soon if we are running big polearm all day, every day. I am, by the way, for those of you who do not know, I am in the pocket of big polearm, and so just like cards on the table, like I'm always going to advocate for them. I think big polearm is the future and the truth, and it is the only path to salvation. Big polearm, show me the way. Oh, hell yeah, good. Bastion 1 done, perfect, and we even get it for the desecrated temple fight and this other hero fight. So that means we can get up to level 8 certainly before this this big melee against whoever is still standing. Yeah, that looks like actually it should be fine for us. Thank you. You guys are just really. Look, you guys are the best. I hope that you guys appreciate how much you do for each other. Wait, nope, not like that. You guys have to fight each other. You cannot just run back and forth capturing the same outpost back and forth. Come on, guys. We have a plan. We all talked about this. You might not have been listening, but we did just talk about this. You have to fight each other. We'll check back on them next turn. Let's see what they're doing. What are they doing? Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's go here with Bastion, and you are in range. These would be nice to evolve, but given that now we are at level 3 or tier 3 units already, coming out of Kingslode, I don't care as much about getting the evolutionary summons beefy. It's just nice if they are, so that way they have more HP to throw into the like evolutionary resurgence ability. But here, for instance, I'm just gonna tick them off, like turn them off in terms of the auto resolve, so that all the experience points goes to these heroes. Because you guys should be fine. Yeah, look at that, they're fine. They killed a hero. They had a great time. Everyone got to go to the party. We got to sell somebody's corpse. You know, like just like good party time things. Build Outpost. Support our desecrated temple. Anybody else get in? Yeah, everybody can get on this fight, Walker. You have to figure out who's in the fight before you determine what you bring to the fight. This is not as scary as it could have been, actually, by a pretty meaningful margin. Sometimes they start with a Balor here, and this is a terrifying fight, but given that the Balor is going to take 5 turns to emerge, and the most dangerous and threatening units they have an Infernal Juggernaut, and they have a Dark Knight. But this means I think we can win this fight with just a Halberdier and a Steel Shaper, if we can get them into range. Is there no Steel Shaper who can get into that range? Don't do that to me, Walker. Fine. All right. Well, you know, like you could have moved a unit more north earlier, I think, probably. I haven't checked the footage and I wasn't paying attention, so it's a non-zero chance that we might have not been able to get into that range if we were careful, but I think we could have. But is a slippery hatchling actually enough to make this hero crew kick butt here anyway? It might be. Because, yeah, now we're on Defensive Master for this hero, which means now it's gone from being, like, killable in auto-resolve to potentially not. And we do have a polymorph here for our big spooky boy. And if we want, we could even throw Mask in instead of Helm, because we don't really have any melee attack just yet. So, yeah, let's just switch back and forth between Helms until people go insane. That seems like a good thing to do, Walker. And then we do have a polearm, and there's another polearm right here, and there's big anti-polearm things to counter 1, 2, and then slowing these guys down, and this is a large target. So yeah, this actually looks like it should be. I think we can win this fight. Yep, there it is. Cool. And now, for the first time ever, 383 gold, and a dire penguin? No, just take the knowledge. The dire penguin. Alright, channeling chamber is online. We already have a bastion defensive building here, but I guess we'll build a tavern because we are actually at negative. So this is where the city stability matters, right? Once you start getting into negative, then it actually affects all resources, not just draft, food, and production, which means that it impacts the things that you're going to have a lot more total widgets of anyway. Like you're just generically going to have a lot of gold and mana and knowledge in normal non-chosen destroyer cities, and so negative stability does kind of matter a lot, unlike positive. So yeah, whatever. You got plenty of gold, Walker. You got plenty of gold, and because you did so much unnecessary infrastructure early with your prospectors, you can just build things. You've earned that right. I won't tell anybody. You're allowed to just build stuff. Yeah, there you go. Go here, and I think we might be on hero number 4 now, because I suspect we probably have enough Imperium and enough gold to make that functional, and we definitely have enough equipment to make it functional. And I don't see a free like Whiteborn hero for us to pick up from Eternal Bedchambers or anything like that. Yeah, this looks like a pretty good deal. Noble Aegis too? That's actually pretty solid for auto-resolve against all physical damage, which is not exactly what these guys are going to do, but it's pretty close. So actually, let's see. We could increase the hero cap by 390 so that we could recruit an unstable or a governor with no abilities. Oh, please show me one hero with a good ability. I know they're out there. I've seen them actually sometimes. Maybe we just like, no, this is a hero of the meek. This is also not particularly good right now. Although this could be potentially a lot more useful on the new patch. This one and the Disdain for Weak are both on watch for being nuts. All right, okay. Level 3, I guess, is more than level 1, so we can do a prison cell to convert you. But I won't pretend to be happy about it. Yeah, we'll just buy this out and then start converting you, and that does at least save us a little bit of Imperium, because we have to wait 5 turns for the extra hero cap to open up. Yeah, you go here. Just guard with our low tier units and watch this fight not happen. And I suppose a sprint actually isn't even an unreasonable tool, given yet you won't have fast movement. Yeah, that looks okay. Sprint is something that is not as useful in auto-resolve as it is in manuals by actually a pretty meaningful margin, but it's still good for your AI to have it when they're like particularly slow. When they're 32 movement, going up to 40 movement for even just one turn is really nice. Here we could take Mana Unchained because we are fighting against units that should be beatable with elemental damage. It's really good against most of what Carissa is doing, and this is really bad against most of what Carissa is doing because most undead are going to be super weak to fire. I don't know if Rallying Blessing is going to be enough to offset the damage output, because if the best way to reduce damage output on enemy units if they're on like Spawnkin or whatever is just hit them, and this hits them harder, so I think I'm willing to lean into that for now. We have Bolstering as an option, or Sundering Strikes. I think we want to start with like defensive scaling first. That's generally more important. We may also need to back up and take at least Draconic Vitality 1 and maybe 2. So those are both pretty good. Breastplate of the Champion. Breastplate of the Champion. Breastplate of the Champion? Ah, Breastplate of the Champion. Yeah. So this is gonna be the powerhouse guy. You are gonna have big polearm, and we will find a friend for our polearm staff in the future. But I think big polearm with Breastplate of Champion plus Helm of Warrior plus tier 4 polearm sounds exactly like the tool that we need for this fight. If this fight doesn't happen. Yeah, I know. The quarry's lost. That doesn't matter. What does the quarry do for us? You answer that question for me. Oh, right. Okay, so now we're here. We are on to our next tier of units. Our next tier of tomes. I think given that we're playing with Industrious and we're thinking maybe we'll move into Tome of the Crucible and do a bunch of big stuff that way. Maybe we want to pick up. Yeah, you know what? Let's pick up a draftable. Because we are playing with a Dragon Lord, which means you like have very little in terms of casting points. And so we just want a tier 3 that we can actually build to walk along with our bastions. Which maybe that means we just take Glades, because that's pretty fun. And there's some things that we can do to make our Glade Runners crazy, even if we do end up going into like Meteor Arrows. That's, Meteor Arrows are pretty good on Glade Runners, Walker, and you're already doing enough nonsense that I give us permission to do this. I bless this build. You can't make me not play with Glade Runners. They're not going to be as impressive in terms of damage until we hit our tier 4 units anyway, or tier 4 spells anyway. So I don't think they're gonna do anything too bad this early, but they are gonna be fun. Yeah, you guys can hang out. This is not in threat range. Yeah, that's good. You be there. Think about what you did. I'm not sure what you did, so I need you to think about it for me. But it was probably something. We don't need that until we have Glade Runners online. So I guess we actually sit for Draconic Vitality. That's probably better. Just save the mana. Hashtag save the mana. How dare they? Look at what these AI are doing. Like, they're just taking this Outpost back and forth. Fight each other. No! You cowards! You cowards! I know that you have no reason to fight each other other than my own bloodlust and win percentage, but you guys are cowards, and I think you know you guys are cowards. How dare you? And they even took our outpost, so now all this territory is like actually friendly terrain. So all these units that we have over here are gonna have a harder time getting back to this base. Oh, Carissa, you're mean. You're mean, Carissa. I think you could have done better than this. I think you could have done so much better than this. Let's go here and grab this outpost. We have more than enough movement points to do that with an eagle. I just like being dramatic. But I don't think we want to start a fight with 6 against, or with 11 against, 12 against 10. Considering that there's another stack here, I think we want to wait for these guys to go a little further south first. Oh man, we're gonna get a million gold next turn. Astra is burning down, so yeah, we just need to go ahead and buy rush again. Oh, Room of Recall is actually really important when we're playing with Chosen Destroyers. Really important. Being able to recall our ruler stack and reposition is really crucial. And you are already converting. Tavern's done. Bastion's online. Gold, gold, gold. And now we have 2 bastions. We'll have 3 next turn. Yeah, with 3 bastions next turn. That'll be good. That should be enough. I can't imagine the AI screwing up that badly. Like, usually if you give them a lot of durable frontline units, that's typically enough to let your auto-resolve do all right. Now, it does depend on who you're fighting against. The barbarians and their ability to do so much damage typically makes for harder auto-resolve fights as well as harder manual fights. And so Carissa is probably less of a free fight than Cinren. But Cinren we probably will be able to walk over if he's not careful. Because these guys, look at this. Look, there's a Spellbreaker here, and there's nothing. There's a Spellbreaker, and there's nothing, Cinren. You're just throwing units away for nothing if Carissa isn't here to immediately follow up the battle by killing off our wounded army. And it's now 2 turns for Draconic Vitality to come online, so I guess we technically could just take Purging Arrows just to, like, get it done. But whatever. Draconic Vitality is a much more important trait right now. This is also something that is going to be a lot worse on the new patch, by the way, because of the way that you're just going to get so much more HP off of just scaling things. But, you know, good to have in our pocket when we're playing with, hopefully, a higher amount of chaos. No. Are you guys really doing this? You guys really doing this? You're just watching each other? That's not cool. You guys can be cooler than that. I know you can be cooler than that. You guys love fighting. Don't just like stand around capturing all these outposts. I didn't make them there to distract you, I promise. I put them there because I had to, because that's the way the game plays. But if you're just gonna be distracted by them, then that's not as much fun. I guess we'll set you as our unit deployment location, and then we can just go ahead and buy out this bastion, and then have you bounce over here and disrupt the capturing of the outpost, and bounce back and do that again. We have 1,000 gold, so we can do that 1,000,000 times, and there will never be any downsides, and I'm gonna live forever. And that's the plot of Twisted by StarKid. If you haven't watched it and you can watch musicals, because apparently there are people who are allergic to them. But if you can, it's really good. You should check it out. Pike of Provocation and Helm of the Warrior. 26 damage repeating melee attack. This is gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to the Tome of the Tentacle with a Provoke Great Weapon Hero, because that does do outrageous amounts of damage if you set yourself up for it, even very early on into the game. It should not be difficult to make a pure physical Provoke weapon, even if you don't find anything else in terms of magic materials, and that's enough to make that ability just nutso. Steel Fury Chant's really important. We do need to get that online, but I want to just get Aspect for the auto. Steel Fury Chant is more because I feel compelled to take it for like multiplayer realism. You're not going to not research that in multiplayer at the moment. But I think this is okay. You go here. Wait a second. Can you get no one turn out? Oh, we're gonna be missing on so many tiny amounts of gold. So many tiny amounts of gold. Hey, get out of here. Can't declare war on me. I'll declare war on you. Yeah, you can't declare war on me. I'm gonna declare war on you. Done. You're a jerk. And now I'm gonna bury you in Glade Runners. You're a jerk, and I'm gonna bury you in Glade Runners and Bastions. And other things of various forms of giant birds. There's more gold wonders down here. There's an aberrant terrarium. That's actually really interesting to see. I don't know if are you gonna be in range to kill this guy because I was lazy and just walking around? Nope. Birds might get away. Yeah, birds might get away, because I don't know if this stack actually has enough movement to catch them in the mountains. Birds, you're cool. I don't want to hear anybody talking bad about you, birds. You guys have wings, and that's pretty cool. I think they're probably just jealous. All right, this is the turn. Show me who is going to come fight us. Is it going to be Cinren? Is it going to be Carissa? Somebody needs to be here. Is Force March finally available for us? We can take we can take base Force March, but without playing Barbarians, I think that base Force March isn't as useful. That said, one of the strengths for playing Big Chaos in the event that Big Chaos ends up going is that Tireless Marchers is just crazy good. Force March is still necessary in multiplayer. You do take it just so that way you don't get like trapped, especially in like sweatier games. But like, this is single player. I don't think we need it for what we're currently facing. Yeah, we definitely don't need it for what we're currently facing. Let's fight Cinren as a fun little, like, we'll watch that manual battle. And then I think we're going to pause for today and resume with this campaign probably next week. Because I do think that realistically, based off of that short experiment, that it does seem like there's some sort of problem with Songs of Silence causing instability, which, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Bathhouse, for prospectors, do you mean for like them being able to reset? Yeah, for them it's definitely a big deal. If maybe in like 5 turns we'll pick it up for the mana there, because being able to double clear is really nice. We have 1 Glade Runner now, and 2 Bastions, 3 Bastions. We have 3 Bastions. I think 3 Bastions is probably enough considering the number of enemy ranged units. There's nothing here. You're just gonna kill these guys for free. I don't know why we're even making them. We're making them so that we can fight Carissa. This is the real dangerous stack. These guys are free EXP. Let's go get some free EXP before we pause for today. He says, unaware that we're actually about to walk into a trap. Yeah. Get some more Imperium that we don't spend on things. That's the cool way. It's the cool way to do it. All right, so here's our Druid. So you get to have all of our animals if we have any. There's one slither, and that's it. One slither, and that's it. That's okay. We don't have any support heroes anyway right now, so I don't care exactly who is in command where. And now we just have, like, way more units than you. Do we even want everyone in this fight? Maybe not. But for the purposes of watching this fight, I think it'll be more fun to have everybody here. So let's go ahead and annihilate Cinren's little front force, and then position ourselves to potentially scare Carissa off at the very beginning of our next stream. So let's watch this. Let's watch this grossly one-sided combat. He says, just taunting the AI. Do your best. Show me your moves. I don't know what they are, but you should show them to me. What do you got? How are you gonna break through this? Without spellbreakers, they've won. I think this is gonna be a really rough time for them. Old Mystics going in on it, but I just there's no survivability here. The only real dangerous threat is this guy. These Legend Rank Arcanists are still going to have 65 HP, so they're still going to be very killable. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Well, that's a good start. Our dragon is going to use Star Blades instead of a breath weapon attack, which is definitely not where we wanted to be going into those guys. But now the Star Blades is going to start picking up on the Glade Runners, even without any sort of enchantment. Starblaze just adds so much damage that I don't think it matters. Who else is ready for you guys to get crushed? I guess we don't have warding, so we don't have an alarming amount of strengthen that we can put on stuff, but it's still gonna be some pretty beefy bastions, like right hot off the presses. Yeah, taking some damage on the retaliation, attacking straight into ranged attacks. Guys, make this ranged AI not put the Glade Runners with no crash again. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm anticipating that it is still running, considering that it was still running last time, but this is alarming. Now I feel compelled to reinstall Age of Wonders 4 and see if that fixes anything. I do apologize for all the crashing today. I don't know what the problem was, but I think I'm gonna stop the stream and see what we can do to fix this for tomorrow. But that's all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the news, and hopefully this sign off is actually like coming through, and I'm not just randomly stopping the stream with no knowledge of what's going on. But I think obviously there is some sort of issue that I need to stop and diagnose rather than continuing our stream today. So I'll hopefully